Hi again, everyone, from Fitzgerald Stadium. It's the 2017 Superior Siding Black Hills Classic featuring the Rapid City Post 22 Hardhats, and tonight it's Sioux Falls East, one of their longtime rivals across the state, meeting here tonight in the final game of today's play here at Fitzgerald Stadium. With Mark Benetti and our director on our Hardhat TV stream broadcast at post22baseball.com. That's Destin Human. Welcome to our broadcast tonight. And Mark, Post 22, I think, is a team looking for some competition. To put it frankly, they played some games against teams that either just haven't played well against them on a specific night or aren't very good to begin with.
Absolutely, and from what you and I have heard about the Sioux Falls East team, they are the team, one of the teams to beat over on the opposite side of the state next to Renner. So here's hoping we do see that from Sioux Falls East. The Hardhats coming in for their 29th game of the season with a 25-3 record. So here's hoping they can make it 26-3 by the end of the night.
And for Sioux Falls East, this is their 25th game of the season, and they've won 14 and lost 10. And they are 2-2 so far here in the Superior Siding Classic. East, by the way, lost to their crosstown rivals, Sioux Falls West, yesterday by a score of 8-4. And that's one of their two losses. Their other loss, they were really whacked last night by Post 320. Beat them 15-0 last night over at Pete Lean Field. On the flip side, they have won a couple of games. They beat Albuquerque by a score of 13-3. And then earlier today, in the first game here at Fitzgerald Stadium, the 1 o'clock game, they beat Colorado Springs 17-7. So East is 2-2 here in the Classic. The Hardhats have won, all three of their games by scores of 10-0 over Mountain, 19-6 over Sioux Falls West. Post 22 won 6-4 over Mountain View, 10-0 last night over Albuquerque. So the Hardhats will have a 3-0 record in the Classic as they take on Sioux Falls East tonight under mostly sunny skies. Wind, though, is whipping out of the north-northwest, so again, the balls hit to the outfield will be affected by that wind.
Well, real briefly, let's go over the starting lineups for tonight. We do have some time, even though they are halfway through the lineups, because we do have the presentation of the colors from Rapid City Police Department. It's going to take them quite a while to get out to the field, so let's get right to it. Sioux Falls East batting order will take to the sticks in the top halves of our 7 innings tonight. Leading off is number 1, Matt Hedin. He is playing second base. Batting second is number 16, Siler Melvin. He's patrolling center field. Batting third is number 6, Alex Foos. He's patrolling right field. And in the cleanup spot is the starting pitcher, number 13, Matt Graham. Batting fifth is number 20, Brandon Ford. He's in the hot corner at third base. Batting sixth is number 12, Austin Kubik. He is at first base. Batting seventh is number 4, Elliot Barnes. He's at shortstop. Batting eighth is number 3, Aaron Nesbitt. He's the backstopper and catcher. And rounding out the batting order for Sioux Falls East is number 2, Logan Mueller. He is the left fielder. Matt Graham is on the mound for Sioux Falls East. He'll take on the Hardhats lineup as they follow in the bottom halves of our 7 innings. Number 11, Walker Paz leads off, playing second base. Batting second is number 13, Zach Solano, patrolling right field. Batting third is number 22, Cooper Bowman. He's at shortstop. In the cleanup spot is number 23, Eric Petrie. He's the DH. Batting fifth is number 30, Jack Sorensen, playing first base. Batting sixth, number 28, Zach Sumption, patrolling left field. Batting seventh is number 21, Timmy Paris, the backstopper and catcher. Batting eighth, number 14, Justin Kramer. He's in the hot corner at third. And rounding out the batting order for the Hardhats is number 12, Connor King. He is patrolling center field. Will Moore is on the mound for the Hardhats tonight. We'll have more on his stat line in just a few moments. We have the presentation of our colors and the performance of our national anthem coming up. That'll signify first pitch between Sioux Falls East and Post 22. You're listening to the official radio home of the Hardhats here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
Trusted Choice Insurance
Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar. Coke.
Well, we just had a very nice rendition of our national anthem from Alexa White from the Pennington County Emergency Management. This is First Responders Night at Fitzgerald Stadium as Post 22 Baseball honors all the police, firefighters, first responders, and veterans at tonight's game, and the color guard retiring the colors. But a nice rendition, Alexa White, beautifully done with the Star-Spangled Banner. Well, the Hardhats, Will Moore takes the mound as they get set to take on Sioux Falls East here at Fitzgerald Stadium. As we said, it's lots of sunshine. We had a couple little showers around town earlier today, but they had a few drops here at the stadium also, but the skies have cleared off for the most part. And right now the temperature is 69 degrees.
Will Moore comes to the mound with a 4-0 record. This will be his 8th appearance of the season and his 6th by virtue of a start. So 4-0 record. He has 12 strikeouts to 10 walks and a 4.81 ERA. You would like to see the ERAs down. You'd also like to see the strikeout to walk ratio a little more lopsided in the opposite direction with the K's, but nonetheless, Will Moore is out on the mound to get the job done. He'll face Matt Hedin, Siler Melvin, and Alex Foos, the top three of the Sioux Falls East batting order. Sioux Falls East will face the Hardhats defensive alignment that again has Will Moore on the mound. He's paired up with his catcher, Timmy Paris. At first is Jack Sorensen. At second's Walker Paz. At shortstop's Cooper Bowman. And in the hot corner at third is Justin Kramer. Left to right in the outfield, Zach Sumption, Connor King, and Zach Solano. So Will Moore looking to protect that perfect 4-0 record. Also try to reduce that 4.81 ERA that he has. And as a lefty, he really needs to see some success here in this pitching rotation for Post 22.
Okay, Will Moore with his first pitch of the game, and a breaking ball is high to Matt Hedin, the second baseman, a left-handed batter for Sioux Falls East. We're underway at 6:54 this evening, 69 degrees. Breaking ball low and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Last night, East was beaten 15-0 and had only 1 hit in that game, and that was by Hedin, this leadoff hitter. He had a single, and Moore delivers a strike, and it's 2-1. Outfield will play him straight away. Wind blowing out briskly to left center field as Moore delivers high and inside. 3 balls and a strike. Well, Grandpa Paz brought us up some treats, Mark.
Cheesecake. He knows the easy way to my heart.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Reich on the low outside corner, and it's 3-2 on Hedin. East 2-2 in the Classic, and boy, they've been involved in some wild games so far. The 3-2 pitch is high, ball 4. So Moore walks Hedin to start the game.
Not a good start there for Will. He's having some trouble finding the strike zone early. He did nip the outside corner a couple of times, but nipping's only going to get you so much. You've got to attack some of these good batters here, and now he's at 12 strikeouts to 11 walks on the season, and you and I have beaten this topic of conversation like a dead horse as the year's gone on. The walks to strikeouts, not good right now.
And Siler Melvin, the left-handed batting center fielder, takes a pitch high for ball one. Matt Storrow, the head coach of East, in the third base coach's box. Dylan Platt, his assistant, coaching over at first. The left-hander Moore delivers, and a strike called, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Sorensen holding with Hedin down at first base. Infield double play depth. Here's the set by Moore. And the pitch on the way. Swung on, a fly ball down the right field line. Coming in is Solano towards the foul line. The ball drops in fair territory. A pop fly single down the right field line, only 3 or 4 feet fair. Hedin stops at second. Melvin has a single. And East has runners at first and second now with nobody out. And Alex Foos, the right fielder, coming up.
Tough play there for Solano because obviously he's playing deep thinking that there's going to be a deep ball, and that's just a bloop that it was in no man's land. There was no chance for anybody to really make a big play on that.
Foos, the right-handed batter, is around the bunt, taps it up the first base side, but it's foul, and it's 1 strike. Well, the outfielders, again, are going to have to be very wary of that wind blowing out of the northwest. It's blowing right out towards left center, and that will even affect fly balls, though, hit to right field. So it's a 1 strike count on Foos. East with a chance here against Moore. Runners at first and second. Nobody out. Just underway here from Fitzgerald Stadium. Moore delivers. Inside, the runner going to third, and the throw not in time. Double steal. Well, Sioux Falls East giving Rapid City a little bit of their own medicine here as they pull off a double steal. Alex Foos had attempted a bunt on the first pitch. Drew in the third baseman, Kramer. And then on the next pitch, they do a double steal. 1-1 now. And a breaking ball misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Post 22 will keep the infield back. They'll give up a run for an out here in the first inning. Here's the set and the pitch. And it's too low. So Moore behind Foos, 3-1. The cleanup hitter, their pitcher, Matt Graham, will hit next. 3-1. Here's the set by Will Moore. The pitch on the way, and it's right in there for a strike. And it's a full count. 34 runs scored for East in their 4 games here in the Classic, but they've given up 33 runs. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, a ground ball foul outside of third. Count runs along at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a big moment here for Will Moore. He absolutely needs an out in some way, shape, or form. For his confidence, though, he needs it at the plate. He needs a big K here to start himself rolling on against the Sioux Falls East team. He's in a jam right now with 2 men in scoring position and nobody out.
Hedin off of third, Melvin off of second. Here's the payoff pitch to Foos. It swung on, popped foul out of play to the right. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, all these foul balls coming now from Foos show that Will's attacking and Foos is trying to protect. So it's good on Will. He's attacking. He's not trying to nip. He's not trying to cut a corner. He's going in there. Look, if you put the ball in play, let the defense take care of it. If you swing and miss, it's 1 out.
3-2 pitch is swung on, popped up off third. Kramer gives way to Bowman, the shortstop, who is in fair territory and makes the catch. He was just inches fair on the outfield grass, about 5 feet out on the outfield grass behind third base. Good play there by Cooper Bowman, the shortstop. So 1 out here in the first inning with runners at second and third, and the hitter now is Matt Graham, the pitcher. Graham, a right-handed batter. Moore works from the set. Here's his pitch. Swung on, a foul off to the right. 1 strike.
It's a big first out for this Hardhats defense, and good on Cooper Bowman to call off Justin Kramer. Had the better angle to make the play. Luckily, he was in close enough that nobody was going to take a chance at home.
Teams are batting .306 against Wilmore this year. Here's the pitch on the way, and a breaking ball misses high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Runners lead from second and third. Graham waits. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball strike on the outside corner. And Moore works ahead on the count 1-2. Brandon Ford, the third baseman, on deck. Outfield is straight away on Graham. Here's the set by Moore. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on, line to left field. Sumption is there. He makes the catch. Here's the throwback to third, and it is not held by Kramer. And the runners are at second and third still. Graham hit a sharp line drive to left. Sumption came in, and Hedin with some bore base running. And Hedin is going to be awarded home now. And running to third base will be Melvin. I'm not sure if that ball hopped into the dugout.
I didn't think it did, Tom, to be quite honest. I thought it went off the front fencing. I'm not seeing any protests from Coach Messer or Coach Hers or even Coach Ewing, so it must have barely just gotten in there, and now it's 1-0.
So Hedin is awarded home plate. There is an out recorded on the line drive to Graham, so there's 2 outs and Melvin at third and 1 run in, and Melvin grounds a single to center field just to the right of second base, as I should say Ford does, and Melvin scores. And it's 2-0 Sioux Falls. Second hit of the inning. Ford going after that first pitch. Grounds it to the right of second base. So it's 2-0 Sioux Falls East here in the first inning. And the hitter will be Austin Kubik, the first baseman. Sorensen holding with the runner, and a breaking ball strike on the outside corner.
How important is that bobbled throw from Sumption to Kramer at third that skipped into the dugout? Could have been looking at an L7-5 double play. You're out of here scoreless. Now it's 2-0.
Pitch on the way. A swung on, hit deep to left field, down towards the corner, and that ball is off the fence. Ford to third, into second with a double is Kubik. Runners at second and third, 2 out for Sioux Falls East with 2 runs in here in the first inning. And that'll bring up Elliot Barnes, the shortstop. Jason Hers is coming out of the third base post 22 dugout, the Hardhat pitching coach.
Well, Tom, you and I both know that Will Moore is capable of better baseball here, no doubt about it. He's getting hit on right now, and it's unfortunate to see this early in the game especially, but here's another popular talking point you and I beat like a dead horse. There's 2 outs. Focus and finish. You've got to find a way to get out of this jam. You've got 2 more runners in scoring position to worry about. You know, all Coach Hers is saying is bear down to his infield, bear down to his pitcher. Get out of this so that you can get back to the sticks and hopefully reciprocate on the scoreboard.
Well, I have a feeling if this game is like any of the other Sioux Falls East has played here, this game is going to be a high-scoring affair. They've been able to score runs, but they've given up a lot. Although they will have their ace on the mound tonight in Matt Graham. Here's Barnes, the shortstop, right-handed batter, and takes a strike on the outside corner. So Ford at third, Kubik at second. 2 outs, 2 runs in here for East in the top half of the first inning. Morris delivers, and he takes a strike. Breaking ball just on the outside corner, and it's 0-2 on the East shortstop, hitting 7th in the order. Here's the set by Will Moore. The 0-2 pitch, swung on and fouled off to the right. Still 2 strikes. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the set by Wilmore. The pitch on the way, and he struck him out. Oh, Barnes chased the pitch off the outside corner by about a foot or so. And Barnes is struck out. A strikeout for Moore. 2 runs for Sioux Falls is what they settle for in the first inning. 2 runs on 3 hits. There was a post-22 error and 2 men left on base. So at the end of the first half inning of play, Sioux Falls East 2, Rapid City Post 22-0. You're listening to Hard Hat Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Post 22 wants to thank Superior Siding for sponsoring this Black Hills Classic. Superior Siding is your local window, gutter, and siding experts. They're at 4240 Canyon Lake Drive in Rapid City. They offer free quotes at Superior Siding. Well, the ace of this Sioux Falls East team is on the mound, according to their head coach, Matt Storrow, and that is Matt Graham. And the first man he'll face here in the bottom of the first inning is Walker Paz. Hitting .375. Walker with 1 home run and 16 RBIs. He has 8 doubles on the season. And again, we have to wish Walker's grandpa a happy birthday. We'll do that to anybody who brings us up cheesecake. Mark got strawberry, and I got chocolate.
Can't go wrong with either one of those.
Thank you to Grandpa Paz, who is celebrating a birthday today.
Matt Graham is surrounded by his defensive alignment that features his battery mate and catcher, Aaron Nesbitt. At first is Austin Kubik. At second's Matt Hadeen. Shortstop, Elliot Barnes. And in the hot corner at third is Brandon Ford. Left to right in the outfield for Sioux Falls East, Logan Mueller, Siler Melvin, and Alex Foos.
So Walker stepping in. Aaron Nesbitt, the catcher for the East Ball Club, visiting with Graham on the mound before he throws his first pitch. Walker, who has really been an instigator in that leadoff spot, produced a lot of runs in the first inning for Post 22. Right-hander Matt Graham swings into his windup, and here's his first pitch of the game. And it's a ball inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Post 22 goes into the game tonight having won 4 in a row and 18 of their last 19 games. Strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Play pause straight away, although Mueller in left field is shading over towards the foul line. There's a bouncing ball up the middle. The shortstop can't get to it. It's on into center field. Barnes reached out with his glove hand, couldn't quite get to it, and Paz has a leadoff single.
Walker's on-base percentage, which is a team lead at .536, is just going to skyrocket now. And you talked earlier what an instigator he is. Here's hoping this instigates a big answer. Down 2-0 the Hard Hats are as they get their first chance at the sticks.
Zach Solano hitting .344. Zach with 5 home runs and 35 RBIs. Kubik holding with Paz at first base. Graham from the set. And he delivers. And a breaking ball is high. Solano with 6 doubles and 2 triples to go along with those 5 home runs. His 35 RBIs now lead the team. Here's the set by Graham. And the pitch. Swing and a foul back. 1 ball and 1 strike on Solano. Post 22 with a 10.7 per game scoring average, 10.7 runs per game. Here's the set by Graham. He'll toss to first base. Ball rolls away from Paz, and he's going to make it to second base. Kubik, the first baseman, kind of just hesitated when that ball rolled away from him. He didn't go for it right away. And Walker Paz had to get up and race to second base, and he made it easily. So an error, allowing Paz to go to second, and the count to Solano, 1 ball, 1 strike. Graham, a deliberate worker, delivers. Swing and a miss. Looked like a slider down, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes in Solano. Cooper Bowman on deck for post 22. Again, their left fielder Mueller shades over towards the foul line, as much as we've seen anybody this year. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's low and outside. So the count on Zach is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And to that point, Tom, there is a gap between where Mueller is in left and where Melvin is in center. You could fit probably 2 Mack trucks there. So if Solano hits the gap, he's seeing extra bags, and he's seeing the first run for the Hardhats on the board.
Here's the set by Graham. A look back at second. Pitch to Solano. Fly ball down the left field line. Over comes Mueller, and the ball drops in foul territory. So the count runs along at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, I thought with where Mueller was playing, he would have a chance to catch that ball. But he kind of loafed it over towards the little pop fly down the left field line.
Exactly what I was thinking. I thought Solano was out because of how close he was playing to the foul line.
2-2 on Zach. The right fielder, Foos, is straight away, as is the center fielder, Melvin. The pitch, swung on a high pop-up, shallow left center field. Melvin, the center fielder, under it out there, and he grabs it for the first out. So Solano retired, 1 away, and that'll bring up Cooper Bowman, the shortstop.
Unfortunate at bat there for Zach. Looks like he really just got under the ball, didn't get really good contact to it, and I think if he did, where that ball landed, like I said, was in that big gap in left center. If he got good power, if he just drove the ball, we'd be looking at the first Hardhats run scoring with Walker Paz coming in from second.
Cooper Bowman leading the team in hitting at .447. 3 home runs and 33 RBIs for Cooper. Right-handed batter. Paz leads from second. Here's the pitch. And it's inside over the knees for ball 1. Cooper, 10 doubles on the year, 4 triples. 4 triples tied for the team lead. And, of course, 17 out of 17 in stolen bases for Cooper. And he comes into this game with a 7-game hitting streak. 1 ball, no strikes, the pitch. And a breaking ball low and outside. 2-0 the count.
It's even better for Cooper, too. 33 ribbies on the season. That's second to Zach Solano, and he has a .362 average with runners in scoring position. So with a good swing right here, he could easily make that 34 RBI and increase that average.
Sioux Falls leading 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. Bowman takes a strike on the low outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Paz led the inning off with a single. Went to second on an errant pickoff throw, and he's there with 1 out. Now stepping off the rubber is Graham. Paz trying to distract Graham.
It's your favorite, Tom. The battle between the pitcher and the second base runner.
Well, Walker's doing a good job dancing off the bag at second. So in this case, Graham has to be careful. Here's his pitch. And a strike. A good pitch on the low outside corner to Bowman, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Graham has a lot of great movement on his pitches, particularly against these right-handed batters. It breaks away from them down and low, so it's been tough for these righties so far to deal with.
2-2 on Bowman. So we said Graham is not a fast worker. We have a helicopter hovering over the field. Here's the pitch. A little bit low, and it's a full count. You can probably hear it.
That's our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear.
Well, I told Destin that he should get up on that hook and ladder out in front of the stadium and get way on top of that ladder. He'd have a great shot of the field for our Hardhat TV broadcast.
Have a ladder out there for first responders night from Rapid City Fire Department.
3-2 on Bowman. Here's the set by Graham. The payoff pitch. A swung on a ground ball. It's going to trickle, and it's a diving stop by the second baseman. And that will hold pause at third momentarily. Hadeen, going far to his left, was able to get to the ball a step or two on the outfield grass and momentarily save a run. If that gets by him, Paz would have scored. It's a single for Bowman, so he gets his hitting streak extended now to 8 games. And post 22 has runners at the corners. 1 out for Eric Petrie, the designated hitter. Eric, .437, second on the team in hitting. 5 home runs, leads the team with Solano. Eric has 23 RBIs. Here's Matt Graham from the set. Runner at first goes, swing and a miss, and no throw will be made to second base. You know, Mark, if you had a replay of that play, I'm not so sure that Petrie didn't step across the plate and gave the catcher no chance to throw the ball.
I completely agree with that. That's a very, very close play. I think Eric may have gotten away with one there.
1 strike on Petrie. Runners at second and third now, and Eric lifts a foul out of play to the right, and it's 0-2. That's a very fine call, and you don't ever hardly see it called. But there are times I've noticed certain swings or when the batter does seem to go over the plate with his stride, and poor catcher really doesn't have much of a throw. Petrie has a 2-strike count. Sioux Falls keeping the infield back. Here's the set by Graham. The 2-strike pitch. Just inside a fastball. Good pitch there. It's 1-2 now.
Big moment for the Hardhats. Petrie leads the team with batting average, runners in scoring position at .516, and he has 2 men to possibly knock in, tie the ball game up with a big hit.
Outfield relatively shallow for Petrie, especially with the wind blowing out as it is. Pitch on the way is a breaking ball inside, and it's 2-2. Wind is really blowing out. Now it's kind of favoring towards right field, directly out of the north. Paz leads from third, Bowman from second with 1 out. 2-0 Sioux Falls East here in the last half of the first. 2-2 pitch, Eric Petrie. It's on the way, and it is a strike on the outside corner, knee high. Great pitch there by Matt Graham. 2 down, and that'll bring up Jack Sorensen.
Definitely not what you wanted to happen if you were the Hardhats. Eric, you've got to protect a pitch like that. You absolutely have to protect, keep the at-bat going, try and challenge Graham on the mound, and now it's up to Jack Sorensen with 2 outs to try and get something started here.
Sorensen's hitting .383 on the year. 2 home runs, 26 RBIs. Graham's pitch. Strike on the outside corner. Graham is probably as deliberate of a worker as we've seen this year. He's very deliberate on the mound, takes his time, not in a hurry. He's ahead of Sorensen to 1 strike. Jack hitting 5th in the order. Paz at third, Bowman at second. Here's the set by Graham. And his pitch. Low and outside. 1-1 now on Sorensen playing at first base. Zach Sumption on deck. Very interesting, the Sioux Falls outfield defense to be this game. The right fielder is even now a couple of steps over towards the foul line. Not a lot, but definitely a little bit of a favor towards the foul line. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch on the way. It is strike 2 on the low outside corner at the knees. Graham is really zeroed in here with some good pitches with this 2-out jam he's in. Post 22, 2 hits in the inning, came in with a team batting average of .347, just slightly below their season high. 1-2 pitch here from Graham to Sorensen, and a breaking ball is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jack. Post 22, of course, hosting the state tournament this year here at Fitzgerald Stadium, so we might see this Sioux Falls East team back at some point. Here's the set by Graham. The 2-2 pitch. Inside, it hits him on the left leg, up around the hip area. So Sorensen on a 2-2 pitch is plunked, and the bases are loaded for Zach Sumption. Zach third on the team in hitting at .431. 3 doubles, tied for the team lead in triples with 4. He has a home run and 17 RBIs.
Sumption's 1 for 6 in his last 2 games, in the game that even included the end of his 11-game hitting streak. So we're looking for Zach to get back on the horse, start a new hit streak, and if he gets a big hit here, then the Hardhats are doing some damage on the scoreboard.
Bases loaded. 2 outs here in the last of the first inning. 2-0 Sioux Falls East. Sumption, the right-handed batter, waits. Graham delivers, and it's a wild pitch, or at least it gets away from the catcher and a run scores. That's Paz. Runner to third is Bowman, and down to second, Sorensen. I'm not sure that just wasn't off the mitt of the catcher. More than it was a wild pitch. I was outside, but was it that far outside? Could go either way, I guess.
A wild pitch pass ball. The more important thing is now the Hardhats have cut the deficit in half.
Boy, that's got to be frustrating for Graham. 2-1 now, East leading. Sumption with a 1-ball count. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, 2-0. Boy, he has been out there for a long time. What's his pitch count, Mark? Do you have that?
He's about to match Mo Moore. This next pitch will be his 28th.
But from a time standpoint,
oh yeah,
it seems like he's thrown 58. 2-0 on Sumption.
We're almost a half hour through the game, by the way, at this point.
Here's the set by Matt Graham. The pitch on the way, and that's a strike on the outside corner at the knees. 2-1.
Yeah, we started at 6:54. It's about 7:20. Yeah, it's 7:24. It's exactly a half hour.
Probably 2/3 of that half hour is from Sioux Falls. Here's the set, the 2-1 pitch. Swinging a foul back by Sumption, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Zach started the season with the Expos, and since he was called up when the team went to Cheyenne and got a chance to play, and he played himself into the starting lineup. There was no reason for Mitch Messer to take him out of the lineup. He's been hitting so well. Done a good job fielding. Lifts a fly ball down the right field line. It's going towards the corner. Foos is there and makes the catch in front of the warning track. A long opposite field fly ball by Zach Sumption is caught by Foos, and post 22 is down in the first inning. But they come up with 1 run, 2 hits. There was 1 Sioux Falls error and 2 men left on base. End of one from Fitzgerald Stadium. It's Sioux Falls East 2, Rapid City Post 22, the Hardhats 1. From the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Aaron Nesbitt, the catcher for Sioux Falls East, leads off against Will Moore here in the top of the second. Nesbitt, the number 8 hitter for East, as they lead 2-1 after the first inning. Moore's pitch, and a fastball tails outside for ball 1. East playing their 25th game of the season, 14 wins, 10 losses, and they are 2-2 here in the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss at a breaking ball. It's 1-1. Sioux Falls scored a couple of runs. They had 3 hits in the first inning. Good breaking ball there from Moore. Bends in for a strike, 1-2. That's 2 more than they had in the entire game last night against Post 320. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch on the way, and it's a little bit high, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wind up by Will Moore. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. A foul tip into the mid of Timmy Paris. So Moore gets his second strikeout. 1 down, and that brings up the number 9 hitter, the left fielder, Logan Mueller.
Good confidence boost here for Will. Start off with the strikeout. His location was superb on that first batter. Now it's got to carry through. He's got to come into this inning with the mindset of it's a 0-0 game, even though it is 2-1. But a fresh approach, a fresh inning, you never know what that can do for someone's mental focus.
Mueller, the right-handed batter, takes a breaking ball in on the shoulder, and he is hit by a pitch. So, a runner at first.
Second, I laud his control, and then he hits the batter. It's unfortunate, but nonetheless, again, he's got to shake it off, but he's got the top of the order coming up, and the top of the order gave him some fits earlier in the top half of the first.
Matt Hedin walked and scored in the first inning, the leadoff hitter. Left-handed batter. And the pitch up over his head for ball 1. Post 22 playing their 29th game, and coming into tonight's action, they have committed 29 errors, which is a very good total. But the fantastic stat on defense is 30 double plays. Throw to first base, and they have picked off Mueller, who is in a rundown now between first and second, and finally tagged out by Cooper Bowman. I don't know what Mueller was doing because he wasn't that far off the bag. It looked like he may have slipped. But in any event, it's a pickoff, and there are 2 outs here in the second inning for Sioux Falls East. And a 1-ball count on Hedin.
What a big break that was for the Hardhats. You're absolutely right. Now you only have to focus on getting that last out. You're down 1. Don't allow any damage, then you can get right back to it on offense.
Pitch is a ball, and it's 2-0 on Hedin. Here's the motion by Moore, the pitch. Slow breaking ball high, and it's 3-0. Siler Melvin, the center fielder, another left-handed batter on deck. And that's right in there on 3-0. You used to call it the old automatic, but you don't do that anymore today because we see a lot of 4-pitch walks. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swung on a pop-up, left side. Bowman is calling off Kramer. Bowman again, it missed the ball. It drops in fair territory. And on at first base, and only first base, is Hadeen. So it'll be an error charged on Cooper Bowman. And that's Cooper's just his third error of the season. And here's Siler Melvin up, the center fielder. Single to right, his first at bat. And the pitch is high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. That wind plays havoc. I mean, that wasn't an easy play. But one I'm sure Cooper feels he should have made. There's a drive hit to right field. Back goes Zach Solano in front of the warning track, and he makes the catch. Melvin flies to Solano in medium deep right field. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. Sioux Falls East leads the Hardhats 2-1 here at Fitzgerald Stadium in the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. And you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Some folks say it doesn't matter how you get the job done, as long as it gets done. To us, however, we won't be satisfied unless performance is coupled with integrity. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Well, tomorrow we'll be on the air on Sunday morning at 11:30. Tomorrow morning, Post 22 will play Colorado Springs. We'll be on the air at 11:15 tomorrow morning. Give or take a few minutes. Cannon City will play Colorado Springs in the first game at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then Colorado Springs will take on Post 22 at 11:30. And then we'll get into our private jet and take off for our road trip on Monday. And we'll be heading to Bozeman. Tuesday night, we'll play Bitterroot in Hamilton, Montana. And then in Pullman, Washington for games Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Our first 2 broadcasts will begin at 7 o'clock on that trip, both Monday and Tuesday night, and then 9 o'clock as we are in the Pacific time zone out in Pullman. So we'll be starting at 9 o'clock Rapid City time. So that'll be a road trip. Well, Destin and Mark will be in the suite, and I'll get that extra cot. Timmy Paris up, hitting .312, 2 homers and 32 RBIs, and he asks for time as Graham takes too much time on the mound. That'll be a very interesting road trip. I mean, certainly the longest of the season, and some teams that we don't play very often, especially the teams out in Pullman, if we've played any of them at all. Pitch is low outside to Paris, 1 ball, no strikes.
It'll definitely be a fun time. The 3 amigos take over the Pacific Northwest. Should be a blast this week.
Are we the new version of the Rat Pack?
I guess so.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swinging a foul back, and it's 1-1. Well, if we're the Rat Pack, we got Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. I guess you'd be Frank Sinatra since you're from New York, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. I think I would probably be Dean Martin. Hmm? Sammy Davis Jr. That's Destin.
Oh, boy, we have a blast up here.
1-1 pitch to Paris. Timmy pops it up on the infield. In comes the first baseman, Kubik, between first base and the pitching mound and the grass, and he grabs it for the first out. One down, and that brings up Justin Kramer, the number 8 hitter, the third baseman. Kramer hitting .383. Justin's been hitting the ball well here the last 10 days or so. He has 6 doubles, 3 home runs, and 14 RBIs. Right-handed batter. Wind up by Matt Graham in the pitch. He bunts the ball towards third. It's going to go foul again. Justin's tried that several times here in the last few games. It just hasn't been able to refine it quite yet. He does have one base hit I can recall on a bunt single.
And he'll get it back, because the last 2 seasons that I've watched Justin play, he is the mastermind at laying down the bunt. He is the guru on this team at laying it down. So he'll get that touch back. It'll just take a bit.
1 strike the count on Kramer. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, a fly ball to right. Foos coming in a few steps, under it out there, and he has it for the second out. 2 up and 2 down in the post-22 second. They trail 2-1 here in the last half of the second. Number 9 hitter Connor King coming up, the left-handed batting center fielder. Connor hitting at .244. 3 doubles, a home run, and 18 RBIs. Here's the pitch on the way, and it misses low and outside. Mitch Messer, the head coach, is in the first base coach's box tonight. Nick Ewing over at third. Pitching coach Jason Hers in the dugout. 1 ball and no strikes on King. Graham kicks and throws. Fastball hit to deep right field. Foos going back, and that ball is out of here. A home run for Connor King to tie the game at 2-2. Connor's second home run of the season.
What a blast by Connor King. Absolutely turned on that pitch. He got all barrel, all ball, and sent that flying out of the park. And that is a much-needed hit for this Hardhats club, coming with 2 outs here in this bottom half of the second. Tied up at deuces, a whole new ball game.
So Connor's second home run of the season ties at 2-2 here in the second. Here's Walker Paz, who singled to center and scored in the first inning. And the fastball outside. That is the team's 25th home run of the season now. They have out-homered their opponents 25-5 now in the season. 1 ball, no strikes. And Graham's pitch here to Paz. And that clips the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1. One ball and 1 strike. Third hit of the game for post 22. Here's the pitch. And he misses outside, and it's 2-1 on Walker. Zach Solano on deck. And the pitch. Strike. He came in on Walker. Good pitch. Walker gets up onto the plate. And Graham able to throw it over the inside corner. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And his 2-2 pitch. Swung on, line foul down the right field line. Walker a little bit in front of that pitch, and the count runs along at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Walker does so many things for this team in that leadoff spot, but also defensively. He's a very valuable player on this team, both offensively, defensively, and on the bases. There's a pop foul coming back here, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 here in the last half of the second. Sioux Falls East had grabbed a 2-0 lead with 2 in the first, and Post 22 now with single runs in the first 2 innings. Pitch to Paz, swung on, a bouncing ball hit the second, fielded by Hedin, and he throws to first for the out. So Paz retired second to first. Rapid City ties it, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. The home run by Connor King. 2 complete from Fitzgerald Stadium. Sioux Falls East 2, Rapid City Post 22 2. From the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Well, Will Moore has given up 3 hits, 2 runs over the first 2 innings. He's walked 1, hit a batter, struck out 2. It will be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Sioux Falls East here in the top half of the third inning. Score tied at 2. Alex Foos, the right fielder, popped to Cooper Bowman, the shortstop. His first at bat near the foul line behind third. Moore delivers, and a strike is called. No balls and a strike on Foos. Play Foos straight away. The pitch on the way, and that is outside, maybe high, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitcher, Matt Graham, on deck. Will Moore into the windup. Here's the pitch, and it hit him. So Foos is hit by a pitch. The second man that Moore is hit tonight. That's 4 Will has hit on the season now. Post 22 pitchers, 28 hit batsmen. Here their 29th game. That's a hit batsman a game, and that doesn't include all the walks they've given up. Matt Graham, the pitcher, lined out to Sumption in left field his first at bat, and looks at a strike at the knees. Hit the ball sharply. Sumption came in to grab it. Here's the set. And the pitch by Moore. And it is high for a ball. 1-1 on Matt Graham. Sorensen holding with Foos at first base. He doesn't get a big lead off of first. Moore, a left-hander. It's difficult to get a good read on a left-hander, but there he goes. The pitch is high and outside. The throw to second base. The tag safe. Paz taking the throw in front of the bag, and credit Foos. A nice piece of base running there, as he didn't have a real good lead off of first, but got a good jump. 2 balls and a strike now, I believe, is the count on Graham. So Sioux Falls East, that's their 3rd stolen base of the game. They pulled off a double steal, remember, in the first inning, so they're running a little bit here on the Hardhats. Hardhats had allowed only 10 stolen bases against them in the first 28 games, and they're 3 tonight. Pitch is low for a ball to Graham, and it's 3-1. Three balls, 1 strike. And Moore turns, but nobody covering second base. Graham, the right-handed batter, waits. Here's the set by Moore. And Moore again turns, but there wasn't anybody within 20 feet of the bag. So Will being distracted here by Foos, who was doing what Walker Paz did to Graham in the first inning. Here's the set by Will Moore. The 3-1 pitch. And it's off the mid of Timmy Paris. It's ball 4. The runner's going to third, and Paris fires the ball into left field. Coming home is Foos. Sumption's throw will come into second base. So first of all, the pitch got away from Paris. It was ball 4. So Graham went to first base. Timmy then gathered the ball in, fired to third, fired it over the head of Kramer for a throwing error, which allows Foos to come in to score and make it 3-2 Sioux Falls. Still nobody out, and the hitter is Brandon Ford, the third baseman, who had an RBI single to center his first at bat. Hit a sharp ground ball up the middle and takes a pitch for a strike, and it's 0-1. So that was Moore's second walk to go along with his 2 hit batsmen. And he'll throw to first base.
You know, Tom, that run could have been avoided if Will doesn't start off with the hit batsman. So, you know, here we are staring at a 3-2 deficit now, but again, this all could have been avoided.
No balls and a strike, and Moore throws to first. Here's the set by Moore. His pitch to Ford is a ball just outside. One ball, one strike. Bobby Bennett calling the balls and strikes tonight. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. And that missed outside, and it's 2-1. Two balls and a strike. Leading from first is Graham. The pitch on the way, and it's wide for ball 3. 3-1. Austin Kubik, the number 6 hitter, is on deck. Pitch on the way, and it swung on, hit up the middle into center field. Ford with his second consecutive ground ball single to center. Graham stops at second. And Sioux Falls East has runners at first and second with nobody out. And Austin Kubik, the first baseman, coming up. Kubik doubled to left his first at bat. And I'm sure he's in a bunt situation here. Give East a chance to put runners at second and third with one out. They already have taken the lead here this inning. 3-2. The pitch on the way shows no signs of bunting. Takes the pitch high for a ball.
I'd be very shocked here, Tom, if Kubik doesn't lay down for a bunt. You know, if you're Sioux Falls East, you have a chance to really step on the throat here and take a multi-run lead. And a properly laid bunt would take care of that.
I'm not sure how good Graham runs at second base, but they've already pulled off a double steal. Swing and a miss. Foul tip, and it's 1-1. When they pulled off that double steal in the first inning, remember, the first pitch was a fake bunt attempt. There was a bunt attempt, and it was fouled. Then they switched and went to a double steal, which they pulled off successfully, and both of those runners ended up scoring. 1 ball, 1 strike on Kubik. The pitch is swung on, chopped foul off to the left. And Moore works ahead of the Sioux Falls East first baseman, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, if I'm Will, you got to get the out here at the plate, I think. Yes, a double play, especially if you get the lead runner at third, would be awesome. But if you get the out here, then the double play can end the inning. So, and look, you're already in the driver's seat, 1 and 2. Attack, get the K, get ready for the next guy.
Now Moore looking in as Kubik steps out. Sorensen playing in back of the runner at first. Outfield is straight away. The pitch on the way. It's swung on, lined out into center field. King is there, and he makes the catch. And the runners will have to hold. Kubik hit the ball hard, but lines it out to King in center field, who moved just a couple of steps to his left to make the catch. One down, and it brings up Elliot Barnes, the shortstop.
Well, good to get that first out. Focus now, like we've been talking about the whole game, the whole season. Get your focus, get zeroed in, get ready for a double play ball to end this, and try and answer once again on offense.
Barnes struck out swinging to end the first inning, right-handed batter. Pitch on the way is a breaking ball, and it's high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Sioux Falls East leading 3-2 here in the top of the third inning. 2 on, 1 out. Lefty Moore from the set delivers. Fastball, strike on the low outside corner, and it's 1-1 on Barnes. East won their first game today. They played the 1 o'clock game and beat Colorado Springs 17-7. Colorado Springs will play post 22 tomorrow morning here at 11:30. Moore looking back at second at Graham. The pitch on the way, and it's low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the set. And the pitch. Low and outside, ball 4. Jason Hers is coming out of the post 22 third base dugout. Aaron Nesbitt will be the batter, the catcher, number 8 hitter. Three to 2 East, and they have a chance to really jump on post 22. And these are situations, Mark, that we've seen over the first 29 games. The post 22 has been able to dance around these situations and not let teams really have that explosive big inning. Teams may get 1-2 runs, but they haven't given up 4 or 5 run innings this year to their opponents, maybe once. So Nesbitt up with the bases loaded, number 8 hitter, little right-handed batter, and he looks at a strike on the outside corner.
Good movement from Will on that pitch, and if I'm Will, you've got the 8-hole hitter. Use your movement to your advantage. Try and psych him out, get his vision moving, and take away his eyes.
Here's the pitch. Low and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Graham at third, Ford at second, Barnes at first for East. Sorensen in on the grass at first base, as is Kramer at third. The 1-1 pitch, and it hit him. That'll get it Nesbitt an RBI.
It's the third hit batsman of the day here, Tom, and this one really cost you because it knocked in a run. And here's the crazy part. So in this inning, you have 2 hit batsmen. One has already scored when he got on base. The other one has knocked in a run because bases were loaded. Control is a problem right now for Will. He's just got to find a way to get it together and get out of this inning.
Logan Mueller, right-handed batting left fielder, up, number 9 hitter, takes a fastball high. 4-2 now, East leading. Mueller was hit by a pitch in the second inning. Bases loaded, still only 1 out. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Mueller. Swung on, chopped towards third. Kramer has it, throws the pause at second for 1, on to Sorensen, double play. Just what the doctor ordered. Good start of that double play by Kramer. Good turn by Paz at second. 5-4-3, third to second to first on the double dip. 2 runs in the third inning for Sioux Falls East. They had just the 1 hit. There was 1 post-22 error and 2 men left on base. So we move to the last half of the third inning here at Fitzgerald Stadium, And Sioux Falls East leads the Hardhats 4-2. From the Anytime Auto Sales press box and on Hardhat TV, you're listening to Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
Post 22 wishes to thank Superior Siding of Rapid City for sponsoring our Black Hills Classic, both here at Fitzgerald Stadium and at Pete Lean Field over across the parking lot. Superior Siding is your local window, gutter, and siding experts, located at 4240 Canyon Lake Drive. If you're considering siding on your home, give them a call. New gutters, new windows, they offer free quotes at Superior Siding. 4-2, Sioux Falls East leading, and Zach Solano will lead off here in the last half of the third inning against Matt Graham. How many pitches did Will Moore leave the third inning with there, Mark?
67 totally at 26 in the third inning. He's gone 28 in the first, 13 in the second, 26 in the third.
Solano flied out to left center his first at bat. Bowman and Petrie to follow. The last half of the third inning. Here's the pitch. And it's outside from Matt Graham, ball one. One ball, no strikes. The pitch on the way. Lined out into right center for a base hit. Melvin over to pick the ball up, and Solano has a leadoff single here in the last half of the third.
Zach now 1 for 2 on the ball game, and that's a good start here for this Hardhats club. It's the second time in 3 innings now that the leadoff man has hit, safely reached base. The last time it happened was Walker Paws, and he came around to score. So here's hoping lightning strikes twice for the Hardhats in that department, and Cooper Bowman just keeps it rolling.
Cooper had an infield hit. Second baseman Hedin made a diving stop on the edge of the grass in the first inning. And the pitch. Bluffs a bunt, takes a breaking ball low and outside. Cooper's single did extend his hitting streak now to 8 games in that first inning. Nobody else really has any hitting streak of, I think nobody's over 3. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Here's the set by Graham. Third baseman Ford way in on the grass. The pitch on the way, and it's a wild pitch down in the dirt, bouncing away from the catcher, and Solano goes to second. Rapid City scored their first run in the first inning on a wild pitch. Could have been a pass ball. Then their run in the second came on a solo homer by Connor King. Now it's Solano at second, nobody out. 2 balls on Bowman. Here's the set by Graham. The pitch on the way, and it's low and outside. 3 balls and no strikes. So Graham, how hard will he go after Bowman? He's behind 3-0. Pitch on the way, and he threw a good pitch at the knees for a strike, and it's 3-1. Three balls and 1 strike. Solano at second. Graham at the belt. Here's the pitch. Runner going to third, and a ground ball into left field for a base hit. Here comes the runner, Solano, to the plate, and he scores. The ball gets away, and down to second base goes Bowman. The runner from second, Solano, broke for third. Bowman hit a ground ball, and Zach really had to stop for a moment to let the ball go past him. If he would have been hit by that batted ball, he would have been out. It went on into left field. Mueller fielded the ball through to the plate. It was not in time to get Solano, and then Bowman went down to second on the throw. Here's Eric Petrie up, so it's 4-3. Sioux Falls East leading now, and the tying run at second in Bowman with nobody out. Petrie called out on strikes in the first. The windup in the pitch is a ground ball to third, but it's foul outside the bag. One strike on Eric.
Well, let's talk about that lead man, Tom. It's twice now in 3 innings. The Hardhats have the leadoff runner on. He's singled to get on the base path. He's come around to score, and this is at a big moment right here. Hardhats have ones across the board in all 3 innings that they've taken to the sticks so far.
One strike on Petrie. Graham's pitch on the way is a check swing, but he went over halfway, a breaking ball down. And it snowballs and 2 strikes.
Eric's a more patient hitter than that. And he's smart enough to understand when to commit to the swing and when not to. Just couldn't make his mind up on that pitch. So Eric's got to get back to what's worked. Utilize your patience, which is why you have the second best batting average on the team.
Graham at the belt. Long look in the 0-2 pitch. Low for a ball. It's 1-2. Post 22 proud to sponsor again tonight First Responders Night, honoring all the police officers, firefighters, first responders, and veterans at tonight's game. And it's all sponsored, this classic, by Superior Siding. 1-2 on Petrie, leading from second. Bowman, here's the pitch on the way, and it's swung on and missed. A breaking ball away, and Eric chased it. So there's the first out here in the 3rd inning. Second strikeout, and they both have come against Eric Petrie. That brings up Jack Sorensen, who was hit by a pitch back in the 1st inning. Here's the pitch, and it's low, bounces away from the catcher, and over to third goes Bowman. So Bowman is the tying run at third base with 1 out.
Tell you, Tom, this is a comedy of errors right now. The Hardhats have given up a lot of free base runners. Sioux Falls East has given up a lot of free passes to base runners when they get on the base path, and it's a wild pitch here, a pass ball there. I mean, again, that could have all been avoided. Cooper Bowman could still be on first base right now, or second even, and right now he's on third. He's 90 feet away from tying this up.
Sorensen with a count of 1 ball. The infield is going to stay back for Sioux Falls. With 1 out and a runner at third, a lot of times coaches will bring the infield in because you have 1 out, pitch low and away. 2 balls and no strikes. With the 4 hit batsmen now we have tonight, Mark, we like to keep this stat always because it's just incredible. 67 hit batters between the 2 teams this season. That's more than 2 a game. Wow. I've never seen so many in my life as I've seen this year. Here's the set by Graham, the 2-0 pitch, and it's low. It's at the plate in the dirt. The catcher, Nesbitt, couldn't find it, but it was only a foot or so behind the plate. 3 balls and no strikes on Sorensen. Zach Sumption on deck. We're in the last half of the 3rd inning, and Sioux Falls East holds the 4-3 lead over Post 22. Here's the set and the pitch. Strike on the outside corner. And it's 3-1.
Jack Sorensen has the 5th best batting average with runners in scoring position on the team at .433. So if he does make contact to put the ball in play, there is a high chance that Cooper Bowman's going to tie this up.
3 balls and a strike. Here's the set by Graham. A check of the runner at third. That's Bowman. The pitch on the way. It swung on and chopped foul down and back. Full count now on Jack Sorensen. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 4 runs on 4 hits for East right now. 3 runs on 5 hits for Post 22. A full count on Sorensen. Graham from the stretch. He delivers. Swung on, a bouncing ball to second. It'll score the run. Hedin fields it and throws to first base for the out. In to score is Bowman, the tying run. Sorensen gets his 27th RBI of the season. And there are 2 outs now and nobody on. 4-4 here in the last half of the 3rd inning.
Good on Jack Sorensen to get the job done. A nice hit to the opposite side of the field from where Cooper Bowman was standing, making an easy trot home. Where we're tied up again. This is going to be one heck of a shootout, just like you were saying earlier.
Zach Sumption fly to right, his first at bat, hit it deep down towards the right field corner. His first at bat. Now Nesbitt, the catcher, wants to go out and talk with his pitcher.
I should give you some clairvoyance points for that, Tom, because earlier today you said Sioux Falls has been scoring a lot of runs. They've been giving up a lot of runs, and we're at 4-4 right now in 3 innings and still have 4 more of these things to go. So wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 10-9 final score at this rate.
Here's the pitch to Zach Sumption. Breaking ball is bounced foul off to the third base side, and it's 1 strike. Post 22 has never led in this game. Sioux Falls has had the leads a couple of different times. 2-run leads, but they haven't held up. Graham's 1 strike pitch. Another chopper foul up the third base line, and the count goes to 0-2.
Graham's been going off speed against Sumption here, and Sumption's been a little too far ahead of it, which is why he's fouled it off the way he has. So you don't know what to expect now. I would personally expect a fastball because you've seen 2 off-speed pitches, but if I'm Sumption, you got to protect here at 0-2.
Pitch on the way, is swung on, drilled out into left center field for extra bases. That's going to bounce off the fence underneath this big scoreboard out in left center, and Sumption has a stand-up double here with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. His 4th double of the season. Post 22 gets their 6th hit of the game, and the go-ahead run is at second now for Timmy Paris.
I'm going to tell you exactly why that ended up being a double. Remember earlier you were talking about how the left fielder, Logan Mueller, is playing so close to the foul line? I made a mention of it. There is that gap between left field and center field of just a hole where you could field 2 Mack trucks in. And Zach Sumption teed it perfectly right into that spot, and it was a 2-bagger, no doubt about it the whole way.
Timmy Paris popped to first back in the 2nd inning. Here's the set by Graham and his pitch. Timmy hits a foul back to the screen, 1 strike. Pitch was up, and Timmy had a good cut at it. Timmy's kind of struggled at the plate here the last couple of weeks. Got off to such a hot start. Led the team in RBIs for most of the season up until the last few games. He's got 32 on the season. 2 home runs on the year for Paris. Here's the set by Graham. A look back at second, the 1-strike pitch. Swung on and missed. And it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Unfortunate to see Timmy in this slump because he is such a crucial part of this team's offense. And I know, like you mentioned, he's been struggling a little bit. That adds even more pressure to this at-bat because he has been struggling, and he has a chance to either give his team the lead here or get retired and leave it another tie score heading into the 4th.
0-2, I should say, on Paris. Here's the set by Graham. And his pitch. Inside, a ball, 1-2. Timmy's first home run of the season, you might recall, was on his very first at-bat back on May 3rd up in Spearfish.
May 3rd. Feels like it was 20 years ago at this rate.
This game feels like it's lasted for 20 years. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Time is standing still at Fitzgerald Stadium tonight. 1-2 pitch. Little blooper to third, and it's caught by Ford in foul territory. So Paris is out, and Post 22 retired in the 3rd inning, but they tie the game. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and a man left on. 4-4 is our score after 3 innings of play here from Fitzgerald Stadium. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota 577.
Are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1940.
All set now for the top half of the fourth inning here at the Fitz, and the Hardhats start off their next sequence of defense in this great game of baseball with a pitching change. They are now going to turn to Dylan Ritchie. His fourth appearance of the season, all of them have been in relief, including this one. Only 3 1/3 innings of work under his belt. 3 strikeouts to 2 walks, a 4.2 ERA, and he takes over for Will Moore, the starter, who went the first 3 innings of the ball game, allowed 4 runs, which were all earned on 4 hits, 2 strikeouts to 3 walks, 3 hit batsmen, all on 66 pitches. Numbers across the board through 3 innings of play. For Sioux Falls East, it's 4 runs, 4 hits, and an error. And for the Hardhats, it's 4 runs on 6 hits with 3 errors. The scoreboard's been acting up. They have yet to add the 3rd error that was charged to the Hardhats, courtesy of Timmy Paris on an overthrow. So Dylan Ritchie will take on the top of the order here for Sioux Falls East, starting off with the left-handed hitting second baseman, Matt Hedin, who is 0 for 1 with a walk, a run scored, and a reach on an error. He looks at strike 1. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action here on Hardhats TV and on ESPN Radio Rapid City. The 0-1 from Ritchie is swung on and hit right up the third base line and into left for a base hit. Sumption comes into field, and Hedin is going to hang on at first. So Hedin gets a leadoff single for Sioux Falls East. And that will now bring up Siler Melvin, the left-handed hitting center fielder. He's 1 for 2 with a single, a run scored, a stolen base, and he also has a fly out to right field under his belt. So the first batter Dylan Ritchie faces in relief. Knocks an opposite field single up the third baseline. And now his first pitch to Siler Melvin, swung on and fouled to our left. Looked like it was zeroed in on the left side of our press box, but I don't think it got up that high. No balls and a strike to count here to Siler Melvin. A man on first, no one out here in the top of the fourth. We are all square at 4. Here's the 0-1. Swung on, and that ball is fouled to left field side. And out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to count here for Dylan Ritchie. He is ahead. Looking for his first strikeout in relief. Sioux Falls East 2-2 here in the Superior Sidings Black Hills Classic. The Hardhats still perfect, 3-0. Coming into this matchup here against their cross-state rival. 0-2. Swung on, and the ball's hit up the middle to second. Paz gets the stop to Cooper Bowman at second for 1, to first for 2. Double play, he got it. A 4-6-3 double play. And that clears up the base path. 2 down will now bring us to Alex Foos, the right fielder. Foos 0 for 1. A pop out to Cooper Bowman at short, and then he was hit by a pitch, came around to score. He also has a stolen base under his belt. First pitch, called strike at his knees. 0-1 the count from Dylan Ritchie, who is in his first inning of relief for Will Moore. Moore went the first 3 innings of the ballgame. 4 runs, all earned on 4 hits. 2 strikeouts to 3 walks and 3 hit batsmen. 0-1, called strike, outside corner at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes to Alex Foos. So Ritchie again in position to end this inning. He is way ahead in the driver's seat. No balls and 2 strikes. Quick to his motion from a stretch, and the pitch is swung on, and it's blooped over the head of Walker Paz. It's going to drop in right field for a base hit. So it's a 2-out single for Alex Foos. And that will bring us to Matt Graham, who is the starting pitcher for Sioux Falls East. And he's also the cleanup hitter. 0 for 1 with a line out to Zach Sumption in left. He also has a base on balls and a run scored. So Graham has a man on first with 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. We are still square at 4 runs aside. And Dylan Ritchie's first pitch is high at the letters, ball 1. If Graham's the final out, the Hardhats will go to 8, 9, and 1 in the order. That's Justin Kramer, Connor King back to the top to Walker Paz. Should he keep the inning going, Brandon Ford, the third baseman's on deck. Ritchie from the stretch, 1-0 to Graham. Breaking ball, low and away, 2 balls, no strikes. Brandon Ford has a pair of singles. One has knocked in a run. He is in the on-deck circle. Matt Graham looking for his first hit of the ballgame. Ritchie deals his 2-0. Runner goes. It's a ball. Throw to second is definitely not in time. No, they're saying he bobbled the ball. My goodness, what a close play. I was getting ready to mark caught stealing in the end of the top half of the fourth in my scorebook, but Walker Paz bobbled the ball, so it's a stolen base for Alex Foos. He's in scoring position. 3 balls, no strikes to count here to Graham. And he has a man on second. And the 3-0 is high, ball 4. So Dylan Ritchie surrenders a 2-out walk. Now there are men on first and second. That's going to bring us to Brandon Ford. Now, like I said earlier, he's 2 for 2, a pair of singles, and 1 run batted in. He has a chance to add to that total and give Sioux Falls East the lead here. Men on first and second. 2 outs, top of the fourth. We're knotted at 4. Ritchie a look at second. First pitch. Breaking pitch low and away, and Ford doesn't chase it. Want to know the count to the Sioux Falls East third baseman. If he keeps this inning going, the first baseman, Austin Kubik's on deck. 1 for 2 with a double. 1 ball, no strikes. Ritchie from the stretch. Another look at the base path. And the 1-0 swung on and missed. 1-1 now the count here to Brandon Ford. Alex Foos is on second. A single and a stolen base got him there. Matt Graham on first. A base on balls got him to first. 1-1. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to right field. Zach Solano backpedals. He's underneath it. He makes the catch, and that is going to end the top half of the fourth inning. We're officially at halftime of the ballgame, folks. 3.5 innings have been recorded out of our 7 of regulation. It was no runs on a pair of hits for Sioux Falls East. No Hardhats errors. 2 men left on the base path, 1 in scoring position. And at halftime of the ballgame, we are still knotted up at 4 runs on either side of the scoreboard. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the fourth. The Hardhats transition to offense with Justin Kramer, Connor King, and back to the top of the order to Walker Paz. Coming up, you're listening from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box to Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City, and on the internet at Hardhats TV, which can be found all season long at post22baseball.com.
49.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
Trusted Choice
Well, the Hardhats transition from defense to offense as we go now to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Post 22 and Sioux Falls East deadlocked at 4 runs on either side of the scoreboard. Numbers across the board at halftime, if you will. 3.5 innings out of 7 full to be played in regulation. For Sioux Falls East, it's 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. And for the Hardhats, it's 4 runs on 6 hits as well, but 3 blemishes on defense. Graham is still on the mound for Sioux Falls East. He is the proclaimed ace by the coaching staff of Matt Storrow, the head coach, and Dylan Platt, the assistant. And he will face 8, 9, and 1 in the Hardhats order. Justin Kramer, Connor King, and then back to the top to Walker Paz. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action this season on ESPN Radio Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and on Hardhats TV on the internet, which can be found all season long on post22baseball.com. Graham to Justin Kramer. And the first pitch to the Hardhats third baseman is low and inside for ball 1. Kramer on the ball game is 0 for 1. He flew out to right field in the bottom half of the second. Right-handed batter facing the right-handed arm in Graham. Here comes the 1-0. Swung on, and the ball is hit in the gap between short and third and into left for a base hit. So Justin Kramer leads off the bottom half of the fourth with a single. The go-ahead run is on the base path. That's going to bring up Connor King, who in this ball game is 1 for 1 with a solo blast to right field. That ultimately tied the ball game up back in the bottom half of the second. So the Hardhats now in 3 of 4 innings played. Leadoff man is on board with a single. The last 2 times he came around to score a run. So let's see if the same applies to Kramer at the end of this frame. 4-4 is the score. Go-ahead run is on first. And the first pitch to King, he shows bunt. It's a called strike. And he's behind 0-1. The third baseman, Brandon Ford, is now on the grass, ready to try and field it to take away Kramer as the lead runner on second. No balls and a strike to count here to King. Kramer takes his lead off for first, and Graham deals the 0-1. It's a called strike outside corner. Kramer takes off for second, but the throw is way off track, and he's safe. So it's a stolen base for Justin Kramer. Connor King now 0-2 count. And for Kramer on the season, that is his 6th stolen base. So smart base running from the Hardhats third baseman, but Connor King is in an 0-2 hole. To Matt Graham. King has a chance to knock Kramer in and give the Hardhats the lead, right now tied at 4. 0-2. Swung on, and that ball is pulled to right, but it goes just foul. My goodness, Connor King has had some powerful at-bats in this ballgame. He takes a 1-0 pitch in the bottom of the second. It clears the right field wall. And he absolutely torches this 0-2 pitch, and it just goes foul. Otherwise, he was looking at minimum 2 bases. And a 5-4 Hardhats lead. Right now, his count remains 0-2, and we're deadlocked at 4. Graham, patience of a saint on the mound, finally gets his sign. Looks at Kramer. He takes his lead off a second. 0-2 to King. Outside, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Walker Paz is on deck. Hardhats second baseman at the top of the order. 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. King still has Kramer on second. No one out here in the bottom of the fourth. We're still knotted up at 4. 1-2 to King. Low and outside, caught him looking. Strike 3. So King goes down, window shopping. The 3rd strikeout of the ball game for Graham. He gets a key first out for the Sioux Falls East defense, and that brings us back to the top of the Hardhats order to the left-handed hitting second baseman, Walker Paz. Paz has a chance to knock in the go-ahead run in Justin Kramer. He has a .350 batting average with runners in scoring position, and he's 1 for 2 in this ball game with a single, a run scored, and a ground out to second. First pitch from Graham. Swung on, and he absolutely torches that ball, but it's foul and out of play into Rapid Creek. Down the right field side, so he's behind 0-1. So Kramer once again retreats and tags up on second. He will prepare to take his lead. In scoring position, 180 feet away from home. Kramer's the only man on the base path on second. 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. We're still knotted up at 4. And Graham is about to deal to Walker Paz an 0-1 pitch. After a double take to second, 0-1 once again is turned, but foul. Almost the exact same spot, except Paz didn't clear the fence into the creek. He's behind 0-2. So back-to-back lefties in the order for the Hardhats, and they are just trying to pull that ball down the right field side. Alex Foos, the right fielder for Sioux Falls East, is playing fairly close to that foul line, trying to adjust to the pull. Graham will look at Kramer at second. 0-2 to Paz, outside. And the count goes to 1-2. There's no action in the Sioux Falls East bullpen. Graham has pitched now 78 pitches in what is currently 4 1/3 innings of work on his stat line. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Graham again taking his time on the mound. A look at second, 1-2 to Paz. Swung on, and that ball is lined into right field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Kramer gets the green light. He is rounding third, and he will come home to score. It's a 1-out RBI single for Walker Paz. The Hardhats have their first lead of the ball game. It's at 5-4 with 1 out and a man on first here in the bottom of the 4th. So a good punch by Walker Paz now brings up Zach Solano. He's also 1 for 2 on the ball game. A single and a run scored.
That's 8 hits in the game now for post 22 mark, and a very good at bat for Walker Paz.
Matt Graham, first pitch to Solano is low and away. That'll be ball 1. Solano again 1 for 2. The last at bat he had, he singled. That was in the bottom half of the 3rd. He eventually came around to score. Walker Paz standing on first, now 2 for 3 on the ball game with a pair of singles and a run batted in. Cooper Bowman on deck, a pair of singles, also an RBI for the Hardhat shortstop. Solano, the right fielder, though, is currently out. Graham from the stretch, 1-0. Breaking ball in there for strike 1 at the knees. What a beautiful pitch from Graham, and the count's evened up 1-1. Ball and a strike the count here to the Hardhats right fielder, as Tom refers to him as the human muscle. A lot of power off the bat of number 13. 1-1. Runner goes. Pitch is low for a ball. We're not going to get a throw. Aaron Nesbitt bobbled the ball, so Walker Paz will freely take second. So 1 out, 2 balls and a strike now the count here for Zach Solano, and he has a man in scoring position to try and knock in to add to what is a 5-4 Hardhats lead. Graham really taking his time. Finally agrees on a sign. A look at second. Not once, but twice. And here's the 2-1. Pitch is fouled. Fouled to the backstop. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Solano.
How many pitches is Graham throwing, Mark?
He is about to throw number 84.
And there's 1 out here in the 4th inning.
Still no action in that bullpen, though. Nothing yet. At least from what I see. We don't have the best vantage point in the bullpen, but Sioux Falls East is definitely stocked up on the bench, though, so I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody over there eventually. 2-2 to Solano. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to left. It has legs. It has distance. It has left the ballpark. A 2-run blast for Zach Solano. And the Hardhats now have a 7-4 lead with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th.
Oh, did he hit that one? That was a no-doubter. As soon as it left the bat, the post 22 dugout erupted and started out onto the field before that ball was even over the fence. But that was a no-doubter by Solano, number 6, and a team-leading 37 RBIs now.
Wow. Well, talk about human muscle. He sure flexed that one. That was unbelievable. And a big hit for Solano at his ball club, too. Like you had mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Tom, the Hardhats had trailed the entire game. Didn't have a lead up until this inning. Before you know it, they've put up a 3 spot. And that is their lead right now. It's 7-4. But again, I'm going to go back to a point I made earlier in the call. How about the leadoff batter? The leadoff man in 4 innings for the Hardhats is 3 for 4. All 3 of those men have come around to score, and it's led to some great success for this Hardhats club right now. And so the 2-run blast now brings up Cooper Bowman, a pair of singles, a run batted in, and a run scored. Also had a stolen base to all of his accomplishments tonight. First pitch he looks at is a breaking ball low and inside. And he starts off 1-0 against Matt Graham. 7-4 is now the Hardhats lead. 1-0 from Graham. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air. But foul, right field side, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Eric Petrie is on deck, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, 1 forwards, 1 backwards. Looking to get his first hit of the ball game after Bowman's at bat. Bowman with a 1-1 count against Matt Graham. Full windup for number 13 on the mound, and the 1-1 pitch is swung on, and it's caught by the first baseman, Austin Kubik. That was a nice line drive opposite field for Bowman, but an even better flash of leather from Austin Kubik. 2 down. Hardhats still with a 7-4 lead. Here comes Eric Petrie. Graham trying to get out of this inning here, about to throw his 88th pitch, and it is swung on and missed. 0-1 the count here to Petrie, who again is 0 for 2 with 2 Ks in the book. A backwards K in the first, a forwards K in the third. 2 strikeouts for statistically the second best hitter on the Hardhats roster. Full windup for Graham. Here's the 0-1 to Petrie. Almost hit him. A breaking pitch just broke back inside. Ball and a strike now, the count to the Hardhats DH. Jack Sorensen on deck if Petrie keeps the inning going. Bases are empty, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Hardhats have a 7-4 lead as Graham steps off the rubber for a brief moment. Full windup now for Graham. 1-1 to Petrie. Swung on and missed. Ball and 2 strikes now the count. If Petrie's the final out and Dylan Ritchie is not substituted in the bullpen, then Ritchie will come back out to face 6, 7, and 8 in the Sioux Falls East order in the top of the 5th. Ball and 2 strikes, and Graham deals, swung on and missed, strike 3. 4th strikeout of the ball game for Graham. 3 of them alone have come from the Hardhats DH and Petrie, and that will end the bottom half of the 4th. Well, the Hardhats scored 3 runs on the power of 3 hits, including a monster blast 2-run home run from Zach Solano. There were no errors charged to Sioux Falls East, and nobody left on the base path. 4 innings are in the books. The Hardhats have their first lead. It's 7-4. Dylan Ritchie's back on the mound. He'll face 6, 7, and 8 for Sioux Falls East when we come back. Here in the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box, you're listening to ESPN Radio Rapid City, the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Dylan Ritchie's back on the mound for Post 22. Finishes his warm-up sequence. And will now get ready to face 6, 7, and 8 in the Sioux Falls East batting order. Austin Kubik, the first baseman, Elliot Barnes, the shortstop, and Aaron Nesbitt, the catcher. 4 innings have been played as we come now to the top half of the 5th inning. Numbers across the board through 4 frames for Sioux Falls East trailing. It's 4 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. And for the Hardhats, who have their first lead of the ball game, it's 7 runs, 9 hits, and 3 errors. Austin Kubik's up, and the first pitch that he sees from Ritchie misses the zone. It's 1-0. Kubik 1 for 2 on the ball game. He has a double under his belt back in the top of the 1st and a fly out to center field back in the top of the 3rd. 1-0 from Richie. Fastball up high, 2 balls, no strikes. Richie's now in his second inning of work, coming in relief of starter Will Moore, who went 3 innings and allowed all 4 of Sioux Falls East runs. 66 pitches. 2-0. Fastball just misses outside. 3 balls, no strikes to count. Moore also struck out a pair, walked 3, and hit 3. So 2 strikeouts to 6 free base runners. 3 balls, no strikes to count here from Richie to Kubik, and he deals a pitch in there for strike 1 at the knees. 3 balls and a strike now the count. Elliot Barnes, the shortstop for Sioux Falls East, is on deck. 3-1 to Kubik. Swung on and fouled. And Richie's battled back on the mound to push the count full.
Dillon's the pitcher of record right now for Post 22. If they can hold this lead, he'd get the victory here for Post 22.
Payoff pitch coming up for Richie. And he deals to Kubik. Swung on and fouled. And the Sioux Falls East first baseman stays alive. Count remains full.
No question that Dillon will be auditioning here for a spot on that varsity roster over the next few games. I don't know whether Mitch Messer plans to take him on the road trip or not.
Payoff number 2 from Richie, and he hits him. That's the 4th hit batter by the Post 22 pitching staff in this ballgame. Leadoff man's on for Sioux Falls East. That's going to bring up Elliot Barnes, the shortstop. Barnes on the ball game, 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. The strikeout was courtesy of Will Moore, 1 of 2 that he threw in the start. So Barnes with a man on first, no one out top of the 5th. The Hardhats with a 7-4 lead. First pitch, a called strike, a nice off-speed pitch from Richie. Caught the outside corner, 0-1 for Barnes. Aaron Nesbitt, the catcher, is on deck. An RBI hit by pitch, also a strikeout. Richie from the stretch, 0-1. Off-speed pitch low. Paris gets the block, and holding it first is Kubik. Ball and a strike now the count. For Elliot Barnes, the shortstop for East. 7-4, the Hardhats have the lead. There's a man on first for East. Nobody out, top of the 5th. 1-1 from Richie to Barnes. Swung on and missed. A big cut. Ball and 2 strikes now the count. So Richie looking for that first punch out. He's come close a couple of times in relief. 1-2. Rides upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Richie was the beneficiary of a double play thanks to his stellar defense. 4-6-3. Back in the last inning, his first in relief. Has a chance to turn another one. 2-2. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air. Left side of the infield. Cooper Bowman's underneath it at short, and he makes the catch. Backpedaling into the fringe between left field and shortstop. So a pop 6 in the scorebook for those scoring at home. 1 on, 1 down. That'll bring up Aaron Nesbitt. Nesbitt, the catcher for East, 0 for 1. The second of 2 Will Moore strikeouts earlier in the ballgame, and then an RBI hit by pitch. With the bases loaded back at the top of the 3rd. First pitch. Fastball upstairs, 1-0. One ball, no strikes to count for Aaron Nesbitt. Man on first, now 1 out here in the top of the 5th, and it's a 7-4 Hardhats lead. Post 22 is trying to protect. 1-0. Low and outside. 2 balls, no strikes, and Timmy Paris was ready just in case he had to try and gun out Kubik on the base path. But Kubik remains tethered to first. If the double play ends the inning, the Hardhats will come back to offense with Jack Sorensen, Zach Sumption, and Timmy Paris due up 5, 6, and 7 in the order. Check down to first, not there in time. Jack Sorensen, the first baseman, lost a brief handle of the ball, but it didn't leave his immediate area. So, chaos averted from the Hardhats defense. Still waiting on the 2-0 pitch to Nesbitt, the catcher for East. Ritchie, another pickoff attempt, but it's not there in time. The Hardhats did get a pickoff earlier in the ballgame. That was Logan Mueller, caught 1-3-6 on the base path, back in the top half of the second. Ritchie finally deals. 2-0, swung on and missed. 2 balls and a strike now, the count to Aaron Nesbitt. Ritchie just threw his 30th pitch in relief in what is currently his second inning of work. 2-1. Swung on and the ball is fouled just to the right of our press box into the grandstand, and the count evens up at deuces for Aaron Nesbitt. Logan Mueller, the left fielder, is on deck. If a double play doesn't end the inning, he will see pitches from Dylan Ritchie on the mound for the Hardhats. Kubik takes his lead off first. Ritchie sets from the stretch, 2-2. Swung on, and the ball's hit right up the middle. Bowman, can he get the stop? Yes. No, but he can't get the flip to pause. It was a very, very tough play for Bowman, moving rapidly to his left, up the middle as well. Couldn't get the flip to pause, so everybody is safe. So it's men on first and second with one out here in the top of the fifth. 7-4 still the Hardhats lead.
It's got to be a base hit. I don't know what they put up on the board, but looks like they have given it a hit. That would give them 7 hits in the game. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We're all on the same page.
Now Logan Mueller, the left fielder, comes up, and his first pitch is through the legs of Timmy Paris, and everybody's going to advance an extra base. It's a pass ball as Paris went for the block and went right through his 5-hole. And so now it's 2 men in scoring position with 1 out here in the top of the fifth. And Logan Mueller, the left fielder who is up to bat, represents the tying run in this ball game as the Hardhats have a 7-4 advantage. So now Dylan Ritchie resets for Logan Mueller. 0 for 1. Grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. Was also hit by a pitch. 1-0. Fastball inside, strike 1, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Good recovery pitch there by Ritchie to even things up. Just the 4th appearance of the season for Ritchie. This is also his 4th in relief. Came into the game with 3 1/3 inning of work. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a 4.2 ERA. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, and the ball's lifted in the air to right. Zach Solano tracking, and it goes off the wall. Solano immediately throws it in. 1 run's going to score, and holding up at third is Aaron Nesbitt. So it's a 1-out RBI single for Logan Mueller, the 9-hole hitter. And the Hardhats lead has now been cut down to 7-5 with 1 out and men on the corners here in the top of the fifth.
Not too many times will you see a batter hit the ball off the right field fence and get a single. But the ball came off the fence right to Solano, who was right there just a few feet away, and it caromed right to him. He released it quickly back into the infield and held Mueller to a single and held Nesbitt at third.
Back to the top of the order now for Sioux Falls East. That is Matt Hedin, the left-handed hitting second baseman. He has men on the corners with 1 out here in the top of the fifth, and now his team trails post 22 7-5. First pitch. Swung on, and that ball is hit over the head of Ritchie. Coming in on the play, Walker Paz and Cooper Bowman, and they both have a miscue, and the ball drops. And it's going to knock in Nesbitt from third and advance Mueller to second. So an unfortunate miscue drives in another run, and the Hardhats' lead has now been cut to 7-6.
That's got to be a base hit, too, I would think, because the ball was just a bloop over the mound. It was a tough play. Whoever was going to field it cleanly would have had a tough play to even throw the runner out at first, and Walker couldn't pick it up cleanly, but I don't think that would have affected whether the runner would have been safe at first, and they do give him a hit. So there's 3 hits in the inning, 9 hits in the game for Sioux Falls. They're within 1 and have runners at first and second now.
Unfortunate turn of events there, Tom. And like you said, I mean, if that's Will Moore on the mound, Will probably catches that because Will, and this is obviously an over-exaggeration, he's got about a foot on Dylan Ritchie. He is a tall, lanky pitcher. But, I mean, Dylan, too, his follow-through on the pitch already puts him in an awkward spot to try and make that catch. But it's over his head, and then Cooper Bowman and Walker Paz come on and can't decide who's going to field it. So now we go to Siler Melvin, the left-handed hitting center fielder. He has men on first and second with 1 out still here at the top of the 5th. First pitch is swung on and hit high in the air, left field side. Sumption chasing it, and it just lands foul. And the count starts off 0-1 for Siler Melvin. Melvin on the ball game is 1 for 3, a single, a stolen base, a run scored, and he's grounded into a 4-6-3 double play, and that came in the last inning in the top half of the 4th. So the tying run is on second. The go-ahead run on first for Sioux Falls East. And Siler Melvin, the gentleman tasked with trying to knock either one or both of them in. Dylan Ritchie, arguably his toughest test in relief right now. 0-1. Low and inside. Ball and a strike. Nice fastball from Ritchie, though. Good velocity.
Well, if anything comes from tonight's game, it's been entertaining for the fans. We've seen a lot of blowout games, but this has been kind of an interesting game to watch. Not artistically a masterpiece, but certainly an entertaining game to watch.
Ball and a strike the count. Ritchie checks second, deals, and the pitch is fouled by Melvin. Ball and 2 strikes now the count. I have to echo that sentiment. We've seen just about everything. We've seen 2 double plays turned by the Hardhats defense. We've seen a 2-run bomb. We've seen a solo jack from the Hardhats on offense. Sioux Falls East has cashed in with a couple of clutch RBI hits. It's a 1-run game, and it's a shootout, like you said in the pregame show. It's 7-6. 1-2 from Ritchie to Melvin, and he deals. That hits him. And Melvin's going to take his base at first. Another hit batsman. That's 5 for post-22 pitching. Now 2 for Dylan Ritchie. The bases are juiced. That's going to bring up Alex Foos, the right fielder, with a chance to really make this even more interesting. So 7-6 is the Hardhats lead. They came into this half inning with a 7-4 advantage. And it has all but evaporated here in this top half of the 5th. It looks like we are seeing some action in the Hardhats bullpen. Who exactly is going, I don't know. It looks like Trey Everline from here, but he's wearing a sweater, so can't see his number. Alex Foos comes up. First pitch, low and away, ball 1. Foos is 1 for 2. He was also hit by a pitch. He came around to score in that instance. He's 1 for 2 on the ball game and singled the last time he came up. Also has a stolen base to his credit. Every base is occupied for Foos. Ball and no strikes his count. Safe to say Dylan Ritchie of post 22 is in a jam right now on the mound. 1-0, off-speed pitch, perfectly placed for a strike at the knees. And the count evens up to a ball and a strike. If the double play doesn't end the inning, that means Sioux Falls East has tied this ball game and Matt Graham is on deck. If the double play does get the Hardhats out of the jam, then Jack Sorensen will lead off the bottom of the 5th for post 22. 1-1. Fastball low and away. 2 balls and a strike. Now to Foos. Siler Melvin, the center fielder, on first. Matt Hedin, the second baseman, on second. Logan Mueller, the left fielder, on third. 1 out, top of the 5th. The Hardhats trying to preserve their lead. It is now 7-6. 2-1. Breaking pitch. Up high, 3-1. Dylan Ritchie's next pitch is a ball. We'll have a tie ball game on our hands, and the base is still loaded. Ritchie sets, stretch, 3-1, swung on and missed. And Foos is now looking at a monstrous payoff pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. 1 out, top of the 5th. The bases are loaded. Hardhats have a 7-6 lead. They are looking to keep it that way. Dylan Ritchie is either looking for a big strikeout or a double play to get out of this mess that he is currently in. The strikeout would ease the pressure a bit. It would put 2 outs on the board. The double play would get him right out of Dodge. Payoff pitch from Ritchie. Swung on and fouled. And Alex Fu stays alive for East. Well, Tom, I think it's safe to say my blood pressure is a little high right now. What about you?
Yeah, you look all worked up over there. Big pitch again. Ritchie's in a tough spot here. You know, his first appearance in a long while with the varsity. And
payoff pitch number 2. Swung on and fouled. Lather, rinse, repeat. Payoff pitch number 3 coming up.
You got to figure Fu's batting third's a pretty good hitter for Sioux Falls, so he's fouled off a couple of pitches here. It's just a tough batter to be facing in this situation for Ritchie.
Payoff pitch number 3 coming from Ritchie. The bases are loaded. There's still 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Hardhats have given up 2 runs, but still have a 7-6 lead. Payoff pitch number 3 is swung on, and it's hit high in the air to right field. Solano is charging underneath it. He makes the catch. The runner tags, and Solano throws into Cooper Bowman, and the run will score. So it's a sac fly RBI for Alex Foos. He knocks in Logan Mueller from third, and we are all square at 7 aside. So the Hardhats at least get a big second out, but it comes with a cost. Men on first and second, that's going to bring up the starting pitcher, Matt Graham, who's 0 for 1 with a line out to left and a pair of walks. Men on first and second for him and 2 outs. And his first pitch rides inside for ball 1.
And how did this whole inning start off?
A hit batsman. And what did that hit batsman do? Came around and scored. Ball and no strikes to count here from Ritchie to Graham. And the 1-0 called strike, off-speed pitch on the outside corner, and the count evens up for the right-handed hitting pitcher at 1-1. Graham keeps the inning going, then Brandon Ford's on deck. And if Ford comes up, then Sioux Falls East will have seen all 9 batters take pitches. Ritchie checks the base path. 1-1, called strike on a nice off-speed pitch at the knees. 1-2 the count to Graham. And if Graham's the final out, it's Sorensen, Sumption, and Paris due up for the Hardhats in the bottom half of this inning. 3 runs for Sioux Falls East. 7-7 is now the score. We're going to have one finish on our hands here, Tom. 1-2 from Ritchie. Swung on and fouled first base side. And Graham stays alive. Numbers across the board in almost 4.5 innings of play. 7 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for Sioux Falls East, and the Hardhats 7 runs, 9 hits, and 3 blemishes on defense. Dylan Ritchie taking his time, gets a sign from Paris. He finally agrees on. Takes a look at second. 1-2. Just fouled. Graham looked like he flinched away from the ball, and the ball contacted his bat. So it was an unintentional foul ball, but it's still a foul nonetheless, and the count still holds at 1-2.
Just looking at the record book here, Mark, 20 years ago, the 1997 team, the staff averaged 2.1 walks per game.
Wow.
We're averaging probably 6, between 5 and 6.
That sounds about right. 1-2 from Ritchie. Caught him looking. Strike 3. And that is going to end the top half of the 5th. So Ritchie gets his first strikeout in relief. And he strands 2 men on the base path. 1 was in scoring position. There were 3 runs scored by Sioux Falls East on the power of 3 hits. And no errors were charged to the post-22 defense. 4.5 innings in the book. Surprise, surprise, folks. We are all square, but now the score is 7 runs on either side of the board. Jack Sorensen, Zach Sumption, Timmy Parris scheduled to hit the bottom half of the inning. We'll take a quick recess and be right back. You're in the Anytime Auto Sales press box at the Fitz. You're listening to the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Four and a half innings are now in the books here at the Fitz on day 3 of the Superior Sidings Black Hills Classic. Special thanks to Superior Sidings for sponsoring this event. Quite a few teams from all over here. A couple of Colorado teams. A team from Albuquerque made it all the way up. And, of course, the hosts, Rapid City Post 320 and the Post 22 Hardhats, who are watching right in front of us.
You know, Mark, we'll go on our road trip after tomorrow's game to Montana, then to Washington State. But when we come home, the granddaddy of all of our tournaments over the years, the Firecracker Tournament, which started in 1975, will be here. We'll have coverage, of course, throughout the Firecracker Tournament on Hardhat TV and ESPN Radio. Las Vegas, Nevada, Missoula, Montana, Eden Prairie, Minnesota, Premier West out of Colorado, who we saw last weekend, Rocky Mountain out of Colorado, a team out of Utah, and Yakima, Washington will be here, a very special place for Yakima in their baseball history when they won the American Legion World Series right here on this field in 1975.
Jack Sorensen leads off for the Hardhats here in the bottom half of the 5th. 7's on either side of the scoreboard, and he fouls off his first pitch, third base side. Matt Graham, by the way, is still on the mound for Sioux Falls East. He just threw his 92nd pitch in this start. And he faces Sorensen, who's 0 for 1 with an RBI ground out, and he's also been hit by a pitch. Zach Sumption, Timmy Parris to follow in that order after Jack's at-bat. No balls and a strike here for Sorensen. And Graham deals from his windup and almost hit him. That cleared his head. Sorensen ducking, and the count evens up to a ball and a strike. 4.5 innings in the books. Numbers across the board for Sioux Falls East. 7 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. The Hardhats, the exact same. 7 runs, 9 hits, but 3 errors on defense. Full windup again for Graham. 1-1 to Sorensen. Swung on and missed. Went with that slider low and away that he's been using all night, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Zach Sumption on deck, 1 for 2 with a double. Came in his last at-bat in the bottom of the 3rd. Still have Jack Sorensen to deal with here, though. And the 1-2 comes from Graham, and it misses. No, caught him looking, strike 3 at his knees. And that is the 5th strikeout of the ballgame for Matt Graham. And his 3rd with a backwards K. 1 up, 1 down brings up Zach Sumption. And the first pitch to the Hardhats left fielder. Swung on and it's hit up the middle to short and by a diving Elliott Barnes and into center for a base hit. So Zach Sumption gets a 1-out single. Barnes went to dive, and I don't know if the ball took a crazy hop or if it just barely deflected off the top of his glove, but it ended up riding into center field. So Parris comes up with a man on first. And it would be great to see Timmy Parris get a hit here. He's 0 for 2 with 2 pop-ups to the infield. So Sumption on first with 1 out. Graham from the stretch now on the mound for Sioux Falls East. And he picks off to first, but it's not there in time. So we have yet to see a first pitch thrown to Timmy Paris. 0 for 2, like I said, a pop out in foul territory to first, and then a pop out in foul territory to third. Assumption takes his lead off first, and another check down. It's not there in time. Seven is the score here in the bottom of the fifth. The Hardhats came into the top half of this inning with a 7-4 lead. Sioux Falls East scored 3 runs on 3 hits. No errors were charged to the Hardhats defense. And finally, here comes the first pitch to Paris. It's low and away for ball 1.
Assumption down at first base does have 5 stolen bases on the year. He's 5 out of 5. He's not getting a huge lead off of first base.
Graham gives him a look over at first. Another check down, and Assumption's back. You know, you made the reference earlier. This game's been taking forever. How Graham, number 1, he has the patience of a saint on that mound, and he keeps checking down to first. We started this game at 6:54. It's just past 9 now. 1-0 to Paris. Misses low. Assumption goes. We're not going to get a throw. It was a delayed jump from Assumption, and I don't think Nesbitt, the catcher, even noticed it till it was too late. By that time he did, Assumption was halfway to the base path, and Nesbitt would have wasted time and effort with the throw. So Zach Assumption now in scoring position.
Most 22 has stolen a lot of bases this year on that delayed steal. It's something that wrinkle they put into their running game, and it certainly has been to their advantage. I haven't seen any other team use that.
2-0 from Graham to Paris. Misses low. The ball skips away, and Assumption is going to take third. Another pass ball. And now Zach Assumption's 90 feet away from giving the Hardhats the lead as we are still knotted up at 7. Timmy Paris now with a 3-0 count, and the next pitch from Graham will be number 100 on the pitch counter in my left hand. So Timmy Paris still looking for his first hit of the ball game, but if he gets the free pass to first, he will smile, nod his head, and trot 90 feet to his right. 3-0 from Graham is low for ball 4. And Timmy Paris will walk the line, in the immortal words of Johnny Cash. Men on the corners now, and Carter Deming is going to come in as a courtesy runner for Timmy Paris. That was a rule you were talking about the other night.
We saw it down in Denver last weekend, Mark, where they allowed a courtesy runner for the catcher and the pitcher if the pitcher was batting. Of course, several teams used the DH today, but there were a couple of instances last weekend where the pitcher got to be a pinch runner for.
So now 1 out, men on the corners for Justin Kramer. Singled the last time he's up. He was 1 for 2. Has a stolen base and a run scored under his belt. And he looks at a first pitch strike from Matt Graham, which is now pitch number 101 for the ace of the Sioux Falls East pitching staff. 0-1 the count here to Kramer. The go-ahead run is 90 feet to his left. On third, that's Zach Assumption. 90 feet to his right on first is Timmy Paris. No balls and a strike the count, and Matt Graham is just taking his time. And finally, Justin Kramer says, hey, man, I've had enough of this, and calls time himself. I'm going to miss my bedtime at this rate here, Tom.
Well, you've got 3 hours left.
Well, that is true. I am a night owl.
You're the one who should be telling me I'm going to miss my bedtime.
Oh, you're young at heart. You probably fall asleep at midnight at the same time I do.
No.
Runner goes. 0-1 is a called strike, and Carter Deming's going to get a free pass to second as Nesbitt does not throw. So it's a defensive indifference. That brings Carter Deming to second base. So now it's 2 men in scoring position, and 0-2 is the count here to Kramer on 2 called strikes. 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th. A base hit or a hard ball out of the infield on a sac fly will give the Hardhats the lead. 0-2 to Kramer. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to right center field. It's got legs, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Justin Kramer has just cleared the bases. 2 runs are going to score. He is on second with a stand-up double, and the Hardhats are back on top. It's 9-7 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Justin's 7th double of the year, 16 RBIs, and he and Zach Sumption, probably Zach Solano, hottest hitters in the team right now. Justin's really hit the ball well. He's got that average up close to 400 again.
So the 1 out, 2-run RBI double for Kramer now brings up Connor King, who's 1 for 2 with a backwards K and a solo blast to right field. He is a man in scoring position to try and add to this Hardhats lead, Justin Kramer, and he looks at a first pitch strike outside corner at his knees.
You know, during the regular season, 95%, if not all, American Legion programs are not enforcing the rule that the national office suggested about limiting pitchers to 85 pitches an appearance. They are going to enforce that in national tournament play this year, but this certainly would have helped Matt Graham tonight.
Next pitch to King, a called strike at the knees, outside corner again, 0-2 the count, and that's going to really change things up in national tournament time, an 85 pitch limit.
Well, it's 85 pitch limit in one game, I believe. It might be a little high, but there's a total of 2 for 3 days. I mean, over the 3 days you can throw 120 or something, and so we'll get that rule straight for you. But it's not being enforced by anybody during the regular season.
0-2 to King, high and away, and now the count's a ball and 2 strikes, which is odd when you think about that, because if they're going to enforce that in the national tournament, wouldn't you want to have that in regular season to adjust?
Well, the issue is who's going to enforce it and who's going to keep track. I mean, if you're a coach, you go, oh, my pitch is throwing 66 pitches, you know?
Fair point.
So, and the umpires don't want anything to do with it during the regular season.
Which is ironic. Yeah, the umpires don't want to enforce a rule. Kind of funny to think about as times called by Connor King. I think he heard what we were talking about. He needed time to process all that. Ball and 2 strikes the count now to King. He is Kramer on second. 1 out, bottom of the 5th. The Hardhats back on top again. It's now 9-7 over Sioux Falls East. Graham will look at Kramer. 180 feet away from scoring. 1-2. Just missed low and away, and the count evens up 2-2. On deck is Walker Paz, the top of the order. 2 for 3, a pair of singles. One of them knocked in a run. He also has a pair of runs scored. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count here for King. Graham, a long stare at second. Double take, and the 2-2. Swung on, and the ball is hit to the left side to Elliott Barnes at short. He gets the stab. Throw to first is in time. So an opposite field opportunity for King. He's retired 6-3, but it does advance the runner and Kramer to third. So 2 outs. Kramer's 90 feet away from giving the Hardhats another 3-run lead, and it's up to Walker Paz to knock him in here in the bottom of the 5th.
Barnes had a decision there because he could have thrown to third to try to get Kramer, and he probably would have had a better than 50-50 chance of getting Justin. And Nick Ewing went over to talk to him a little bit, probably reminded him with that ball hit in front of you, it's tough to advance to third, but Justin's there safely.
First pitch to Paz is low and inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Paz, who again is 2 for 3 with 2 singles, 2 runs scored, a run batted in, and a ground out to second. 1-0 the count here to Paz. He has Kramer 90 feet to his left on third. And the 1-0 is a called strike at his knees. Off-speed pitch outside corner, and the count evens up at 1-1. And a lot of times, Tom, you'll see that runner hesitate, wait for the throw, and if the throw isn't strong enough, then he'll try to take the base. Kramer went full bore the whole way. 1-1 is a check swing foul. That's my pet peeve, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. So 1-2 now the count here to Walker Paz. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. The Hardhats are back on top, just their second lead of the ballgame. 9-7 is now the score. Full windup for Graham. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And that will retire Walker Paz, the 6th K in this start for Graham. It ends the bottom half of the 5th. The Hardhats get 2 runs on the power of 2 hits, including a bases-clearing double by Justin Kramer. No errors were charged to Sioux Falls East. 1 man was left on the base path, and that was Justin Kramer, 90 feet from home. 5 frames have been played, and the Hardhats are back on top. 9-7 is their lead. New pitcher on the mound for the Hardhats. If I see the license plate correctly, that is Trey Eberline. We'll give you all the information you need on him after this quick recess. You're listening to the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
So far here.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Trey Eberline is now on the mound for the Hardhats. And the first pitch that he deals is ripped right up the middle, almost decapitated him. And leading off with a single is Brandon Ford, the third baseman for Sioux Falls East, as we come back from our commercial break on ESPN Radio Rapid City.
That's Ford's 3rd hit of the game. He's got 3 singles, all right up the middle. 2 ground balls and that line drive to single right back through the box. He's 3 for 4.
Trey Eberline was feeling to make sure he still had a head on his neck. Austin Kubik is now up, and he looks at a first pitch strike. 0-1 the count here to Kubik. Eberline comes in for his 9th appearance in relief, his 10th overall for the Hardhats. He has a 1-0 record under his belt. He's 2 for 2 in save opportunities, and this would qualify as a save opportunity. Hardhats with a 9-7 lead. Check down to first, not there in time. 13 strikeouts to 13 walks and a 2.86 ERA. 1 hit batsman, and here's hoping that total of hit batsmen stays that way for him, as the Hardhats have already hit 5 between Dylan Ritchie and Will Moore. 0-1 the count. And Eberline deals. Breaking ball, a nice curveball in there for strike 2 at the knees, and Kubik's behind 0-2. With a man on first, no one out here in the top of the 6th. Hardhats have a 9-7 lead. 7 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for Sioux Falls East. 9 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for the Hardhats. Eberline, a quick glance over to first. And the righty deals the 0-2. Just low, and the count goes to 1-2 for Kubik. Win the ball game is 1 for 2 with a double, a flyout. He was also hit by a pitch, and coincidentally enough, as almost all these hit batsmen, came around to score. Brandon Ford is on first with that scorcher of a leadoff single. Eberline a check down. It's not there in time. He was awfully close. Considering Ford didn't slide, he stepped onto the bag, which could have potentially caused him to step off of it, shifting his weight. 1-2 from Eberline. Swung on, and the ball's hit into right field for a base hit. It's hit right in that gap between first and second. So back-to-back singles. That'll advance Brandon Ford to scoring position.
You look at this East team, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 4 games played here in the Classic, 34 runs scored. That's an 8.5 per game average. And they are swinging the bats very well tonight, as they have apparently throughout the whole Classic.
7 runs on 11 hits tonight. So the tying run is aboard. That means the go-ahead run is at the plate. That's Elliot Barnes, the shortstop, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a walk, and a pop out to short. Men on first and second for Barnes. No one out here in the top of the 6th. And the pitch. First pitch called, strike at the knees of Barnes. Eberline starts off 0-1.
Really surprised he wasn't looking to bunt there.
Completely agree. I was just about to say that because you trade the out to move 2 guys, you're tying a run into scoring position.
And Barnes is 0 for 2 in the game.
So why not? 0-1. Now he shows bunt, but he fouled it. So unless he's feeling really lucky, I don't think he's going to be bunting with 2 strikes. I always thought that was funny how if you bunted with 2 strikes, you were out, but it makes perfect sense. No balls, 2 strikes the count. Eberline looking for his first K in relief. And now time is called by Barnes. On second, the most immediate threat in scoring positions, Brandon Ford. On first is Austin Kubik. Kubik represents the tying run in this ballgame. Hardhats have a 9-7 lead, and Timmy Paris will now have a conference with his young righty. Eberline, 14 2/3 innings of work under his belt. And again, this is his 9th relief appearance and his 10th overall in the season. 2 for 2 on save opportunities, 13 strikeouts to 13 walks on the year. 2.86 ERA. Eberline, a quick glance to second. 0-2 pitch. Showed bunt and he fouled it. And Elliot Barnes is out in a coincidental fashion as we're just talking about that.
You don't see that too often. It's not, something that you never see. But I think what set up that at bat was the called strike when he didn't offer at the first pitch, so he was behind right away.
That's going to bring up Aaron Nesbitt, the catcher. Now the double play ball is in effect to end the inning. And the first pitch Nesbitt sees is low. Paris gets the block, but nobody's going to take advantage of the next base in front of them. 1-0 the count here to Nesbitt. On the ball game, he's 1 for 2, and he has an RBI hit by pitch under his belt, a single, a run scored. He's also struck out. First and second, 1 out here for Nesbitt, top of the 6th, and the Hardhats are trying to protect a 9-7 lead. 1-0. Swung on and missed. A big cut on a high fastball, and the count evens up at 1-1. This has been a seesaw battle between these clubs. 2-0, 2-0-3 across the board for what Sioux Falls has scored in the last 5 innings. For the Hardhats, 1-1, 2-3-2. They've just traded leads, traded ties back and forth. Check down to first. Eberline got him at first. A lightning fast pickoff. Eberline caught Kubik asleep at first, and that is a key second out. Still a man in scoring position to worry about, but what a pickoff by Trey Eberline.
That's just, being somewhere else because you have a runner in front of you, so you're not going anywhere. With the runner at second, Ford.
That's a big break there for the Hardhats, and Sioux Falls East just lost their tying run on the base path. So it's 9-7, a man on second and 2 outs, and the 1-1 is foul tipped. That's a ball and 2 strikes now for Eberline. If Aaron Nesbitt keeps this inning going, Logan Mueller's on deck. He has an RBI single. He's also grounded into a double play. Also been hit by a pitch. Nesbitt now with a ball and 2 strikes to worry about. And Eberline deals high and away, and the count evens up 2-2. If Nesbitt is the last out, the Hardhats will go to 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Barring any substitutions, that's Zach Solano, Cooper Bowman, and Eric Petrie, the DH. Petrie still looking for his first hit of the ball game. 0 for 3, 3 Ks. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count here for Nesbitt. Eberline from the stretch deals, and the breaking ball just missed. Up high, and now the count goes full. Eberline has a big opportunity here to end this frame. Already has one strikeout thanks to the foul out on bunting from Elliott Barnes just one batter ago. Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And that will end the top half of the 6th. No runs for Sioux Falls East on 2 hits. There was not a single error charged to the Hardhats defense. One man left on the base path. He was stranded on second in scoring position. 5.5 innings in the books. The Hardhats have preserved their 9-7 lead and have another chance to add to it the bottom half of the 6th. Zach Solano, Cooper Bowman, Eric Petrie scheduled to hit in that order. We have a new pitcher on the mound for Sioux Falls East. We'll give you the 4-1-1 on him in just a few moments. You're listening to the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
0 goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots. He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Back on. So it looks like we have a couple of substitutions to point out for everybody. Alex Foos is now the pitcher for Sioux Falls East. He takes over for Matt Graham, who has shifted to first base. Out in right field, if Tom's binoculars are to be trusted, is number 19, Nolan Bear. So Foos moves to the mound, and he will face Zach Solano, Zach Solano, Cooper Bowman, and Eric Petrie in that order. Right fielder, shortstop, and designated hitter, respectively. So that means Austin Kubik, unless he's been shifted around, is now no longer in the ballgame. And will be replaced with Nolan Bear in the batting order.
That's who it is out there in right field, Nolan Bear.
So Matt Graham, what a performance he put together. 5 innings, allowed 11 hits, 9 runs, 8 were earned, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. And he did have 1 hit batsman. He did also allow 2 home runs. But he did it all on 112 pitches. So now he takes over. Rather, Foos does for Graham. Zach Solano leads off the bottom half of the 6th for the Hardhats. Hardhats have a 9-7 lead. If the score holds, this is their last opportunity to add to their run total. 9 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for Post 22. 7 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for Sioux Falls East. Alex Foos, first pitch he deals to Solano, is high and away for ball 1. Cooper Bowman on deck, Eric Petrie in the hole. As long as there are no substitutions, and as of right now, it doesn't look like that. 1-0 pitch from Foos. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to right center field. Underneath it is Siler Melvin, and he makes the catch. Well hit ball by Solano, who already has a home run in this ballgame. But he is retired, and as of right now is 2 for 4. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring us to Cooper Bowman, who's 2 for 3 with a pair of singles, a stolen base, a run scored, and an RBI. Base path is empty for Bowman. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. The Hardhats have a 9-7 lead. And his first pitch. Off-speed pitch, caught the outside corner. No balls and a strike to count. Eric Petrie is in the on-deck circle. He is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Numbers 1, 2, and 4 for Matt Graham in what has been a sensational start. 6 strikeouts to a walk. Oh, 1. Missed low and away. Count evens up to a ball and a strike. Cooper Bowman looking to keep things going here for the Hardhats. Base path is empty. There's 1 out. 1-1. outside. 2 balls and a strike. Bowman initially thought he was going to go for it, but the ball broke way out of the zone, so he held back. That bat did not come off of his shoulder. 2 balls and a strike now the count here for Cooper Bowman. And here it comes. Fastball up high. 3 balls and a strike now to Bowman. 1 pitch away from a free pass.
Cooper's really amazing. He will not swing at a bad pitch very many times. Occasionally you might see him chase a pitch, but he is a very disciplined hitter.
3-1. Inside, called strike. On a fastball, caught the corner. Count goes full now for Bowman.
But Cooper's so smart too with the bat that he won't offer at some pitches that are strikes because they're not a good pitch to hit. And that pitch right there was a good example.
3-2. Fouled it. No, the strike 3 and it's dropped. Bowman's going to run to first, and the throw is just barely in time. It looked initially like it was a foul ball. Instead, our home plate umpire, Bobby Bennett, said, no, that's strike 3, and it's dropped all the way to the backstop. And if Bowman didn't hesitate on that, he would have been safe. That was an awfully close play.
And Cooper's not very happy. He slams the bat against the dugout fence there as he was upset with himself for not running right away. And in fairness to him, I'm not sure the first baseman kept his foot on the bag to get that out at first. The throw was high into the infield side of the bag.
First pitch to Eric Petrie from Alex Foos is a called strike outside corner. I do have to agree with that as well. That's what made it such a tight play. Was Graham going to keep his foot on that bag? And according to our infield umpire, he did. 0-1 to Petrie. Fastball high and inside, ball and a strike. Petrie looking for his first hit. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. They were numbers 1, 2, and 4 out of eventually 6 for Matt Graham in his start for Sioux Falls East. Ball and a strike, now the count. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Pitch, misses low. 2-1 now to Petrie. Petrie keeps the inning going, then Jack Sorensen will see batter's box for the 4th time in the ballgame. 0 for 2 with an RBI ground out, a strikeout, and a hit by pitch. Is Sorensen the first baseman. Petrie the DH now. Looking at a 2-1 pitch. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to the left side of the infield. Underneath it is Barnes, the shortstop, and he makes the catch. That will retire the side. So unfortunately, the Hardhats go 1-2-3 in what could be their final inning on offense, which means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. And at the end of 6 full frames, the Hardhats are 3 outs away from going 4-0 in the Superior Sidings Black Hills Classic. Trey Eberline is back out on the mound for the Hardhats, trying to close this one out and get his 3rd save. We'll be right back with the top half of the 7th, broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box. You're listening to Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Radio Rapid City, the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball.
Why do so many business people trust us? Well, we're pretty nice folks, of course, and we really know our stuff. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Well, as we head to the top of the 7th now, Post 22 holding a 2-run lead at 9-7. Going into this game for Sioux Falls East, the fewest runs that they had allowed in their previous 4 games was 7. And Post 22 with a 9-7 lead. Logan Mueller, the left fielder, number 9 hitter, leads off against Trey Eberline. Mueller's been hit by a pitch, hit into a double play started by Justin Kramer at 3rd. Had an RBI single and a run scored in the 5th. And Eberline's pitch is way outside for ball 1. 9 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for Post 22. 7 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors for Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls has stranded 10 men on base through 6 innings. Here's the pitch on the way. Breaking ball low and outside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on Mueller. Number 9 hitter, the leadoff man here in the top of the 7th for Sioux Falls East. Eberline's pitch. And he misses with a fastball up and away, and the count runs to 3-0. Well, the 8 and 9 hitters tonight have had 7 plate appearances, and they've reached base 4 times. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Low and outside, it's a 4-pitch walk. So the leadoff man is on, Eberline, giving up a base on balls. Matt Hedin up. Left-handed batting second baseman. 2 for 3. And he takes a pitch inside, and Eberline has missed with his first 5 pitches here in the 7th inning. Hedin walked and scored in the first, reached on an error in the second, singled to left in the 4th, had an infield single behind the pitching mound in the 5th inning. There's a strike, a fastball at the knees, and it's 1-1.
It's a big moment in the game for the Hardhats right now because Hedin represents the tying run. So should he get aboard, we could be in for some fireworks here in this top half of the 7th.
Throw to first base and drives Mueller back to the bag. Hardhats 9, Sioux Falls East 7. We're in the top of the 7th inning. The last at bat for East. They have a runner at first base and nobody out. The leadoff hitter, Matt Hedin, is the batter. Again, Eberline throws to first. Again, that run is only the 8th run of the game. It's the man at the plate that is the man that Mark just pointed out. He's the one, if he gets on base, then it could be interesting. But the runner at first base right now really doesn't mean all that much. Pitch is high for a ball. It's 2-1.
If anything, his significance is easing the pressure with the double play ball if that happens to be a factor here.
2 balls and a strike. Eberline's pitch. Swung on, line to short, caught by Bowman, throw to first, double play. Second double play of the game for Post 22, and their 32nd of the season. Third double play. 3 double plays for Post 22 and 33 on the season. Kramer, Paz, and Bowman each starting a double play tonight. So there's 2 outs and nobody on for Sioux Falls.
Can you see my shocked face that Cooper Bowman was in the midst of a double play right there? I mean, unreal.
Melvin is 1 for 3, and he looks at a pitch down low for a ball. So East now down to its last out here in the top of the 7th. Melvin had a single to right in the first inning for his hit. Hit by a pitch his last at bat. Left-handed batter, and that's a strike on the outside corner.
I got to point out, Tom, there's been very interesting base running from Sioux Falls East because that's the only double play in which there's been a line out or a fly out to then end up getting a runner who didn't tag up. But that's happened a couple of times where they've been very far off the base path on a fly ball or a line drive.
Swing and a miss. 1-2 now in Melbourne. Well, you always coach that base runner doesn't really move until he knows the ball is through the infield. And that time, the base runner, Mueller, was probably 2/3 of the way down to second when Bowman caught the ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's low and inside and skips back to the screen. 2-2 on Melbourne. Alex Foos, the pitcher, is on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 9-7, the Hardhats leading here in the top of the 7th inning. Outfield is straight away. Eberline into the windup, the 2-2 pitch. Inside, it hits him.
Well, that's now 6 hit batters for Post 22 pitching. 3 from Will Moore, 2 from Dylan Ritchie, 1 from Trey Eberline. Wow, that's just... It's unfortunate, Tom.
Here's Alex Foos, the pitcher, started the game in right field. He has popped to short, been hit by a pitch, singled to right center, hit a sacrifice fly to right. 1 for 3 officially with a run scored and an RBI. Right-handed batter. Eberline's pitch is high for a ball. So the tying run is at the plate once again for East.
I know this would take a lot of work on your part, but you've been the only one to call every game this season. You have to look back at your scorecards and see how many times a batter's been hit on 2 strikes.
Pitch is high, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. You want to know something? I really don't want to know. Here comes Mitch Messer out of the third base dugout.
That makes 2 of us because I'll tell you what, Tom, hitting a batter is one thing, and it's a part of baseball. You're going to see that. You're especially going to see that from young players at this level. But what is absolutely killing you right now is hit batsmen with a 2-strike count. Think about it, especially you look at Melvin there. Granted, he's on a 2-2 pitch, but how many times this season have we seen somebody who has an 0-2 count coming and an 0-2 pitch, and before you know it, he's trotting to first on just 1. He's not earning the walk. He's not earning it on 4 pitches. It's 1 errant pitch. You're in the driver's seat. You've got a 2-strike count. These guys are up to their final out. You've got to put them out, and that's where your control and your focus comes in, and we just haven't seen that.
2 balls and no strikes on Foos. Melvin at first with 2 out. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball high and outside. And it's a count of 3-0. Matt Graham is on deck. He's the first baseman now. Their cleanup hitter. Eberline ready, delivers. Ball 4 outside, and Foos down to first base. So the tying run is at first base now. 2 outs and Matt Graham up. He has lined out to left, walked and scored, walked again in the 4th, called out on strikes in the 5th, so he's 0 for 2. 2 on, 2 out. Eberline out of the set. He delivers. Breaking ball is hit foul off to the right out of play. And the count is 1 strike.
Tom, in this ball game, the Hardhats have given up a dozen free base runners. 6 right down the middle, base on balls. The other 6 hit by a pitch.
And then you add 11 hits into that. 3 errors.
That's 26 base runners then?
Well, Sioux Falls had left 10 coming into this inning. Here's the pitch. And it's high for a ball. It's 1-1. Two outs. Eberline trying to close this win here in the 7th with runners at first and second. East batting. 1-1 on Graham. Here's the set by Trey. The pitch on the way. Check swing and a breaking ball, and he went too far. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So now Eberline within a strike of ending this game.
Well, we have been here before, where he's been within 1 strike, so see what happens.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the set. The pitch on the way. Breaking ball is strike 3 called, and Graham doesn't like the call. He throws his bat into the air. He thought the pitch was high. And that ends the inning and the game. 2nd strikeout, 3rd strikeout for Eberline in 2 innings of relief. Well, in this inning, we had no runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. 12 stranded for Sioux Falls in the game. The final score, the Hardhats 9, Sioux Falls East 7. Mark and I return with the totals and highlights of tonight's game here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City, and from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box. Well, it was an entertaining game for the fans tonight here at Fitzgerald Stadium, and Post 22 comes away with their 5th win in a row, a hard-fought 9-7 win over Sioux Falls East, and it was not easy at all. Post 22 winning with 9 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors. They stranded 4. Sioux Falls had 7 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors, and they stranded 12 in the game. Post 22 fell behind. Sioux Falls scored 2 in the first. Post 22 came back with a run in the bottom of the first when Walker Paz scored on a wild pitch, and it was 2-1. In the second inning, Rapid City tied the game on Connor King's second home run of the season, 2-2. Sioux Falls took a 2-run lead in the top of the third at 4-2. RBIs, or I should say Post 22, tied the game after Sioux Falls scored 2 in the top of the third to go ahead 4-2. In the bottom of the third, Cooper Bowman had an RBI single, Jack Sorensen an RBI groundout, and it was 4-4. Then Post 22 took a 3-run lead with 3 runs in the fourth inning. An RBI single by Walker Paz and a 2-run home run. His team leading 6th of the season for Zach Solano gave Rapid City a 7-4 lead. Sioux Falls came back. They scored 3 runs in the 5th inning to tie the game 7-7. And then Post 22 broke the tie, bottom of the 5th inning on a 2-run double by Justin Kramer to break the tie and give Rapid City a 9-7 lead. Dylan Ritchie is the pitcher of record for Post 22 to get the win. Trey Eberline worked 2 innings in relief, and it wasn't an easy 2-inning save for Eberline as he faced a total of 9 batters in the 2 innings, but they got the final out, and Post 22 wins. And Mark, you said you have a stat that you want to share with us.
I want to tell you how important the leadoff hitter was in this ball game. And you look at the sequence of how things went, and while the leadoff runner accomplished the exact same 3 runs for each team throughout the ball game, the stat line's very different, and that's why it's so important. The Hardhats leadoff man went 3 for 6 on the ball game, struck out once, scored 3 times. Sioux Falls East leadoff man went 2 for 3 with a walk, 2 hit batsmen, a strikeout, and 3 runs were scored. Yeah, you look at the sequence of how it went. In the first, it was a base on balls. In the second, a strikeout. In the third, a hit by pitch. He came around to score. The fourth was a single. The fifth was a hit by pitch, came around to score. And the sixth was a single. What's so crazy is that the 3 gentlemen that struck out and singled didn't come around to score, but the free base runners did. And for the Hardhats, it was the exact opposite. All 3 gentlemen that got on by virtue of a hit eventually came around to score. Well, it just goes to show you how important that leadoff man was for both teams tonight. Both ended up scoring 3 runs on either side. But Tom, again, the Hardhats earned their way onto the base path. Sioux Falls East was handed their way on the base path. And you just can't have that. And we looked earlier when we talked in the 7th inning about free base runners. There were 6 base on balls issued by Hardhats pitching. And there were 6 hit batsmen issued by Hardhats pitchers. So you've really got to clean up on those free base runners. Great to see the Post 22 Hardhats come out with the win, but they could have saved themselves a lot of trouble, and who knows, maybe we don't have a 9-7 shootout. Maybe the score is much closer.
Well, Sioux Falls is now 14-11 on the season. They're 2-3 here in the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. Just to repeat, now in 5 games, they've scored 41 runs and given up 42. So, that's a lot of runs scored, both offensively and giving them up defensively for Sioux Falls East. East had won earlier today. They had beaten Albuquerque by a score of 17-7. And West didn't look very good at all Thursday night as the Hardhats beat them 19-6. Well, West has come back since then. They have beaten this East team here 8-4. And they also have beaten Cannon City 12-11, and today they beat Albuquerque 17-1. So Sioux Falls has come back with 3 wins, Sioux Falls West, after getting blown out by Post 22 on Thursday. Well, we want to thank the Superior Siding Company of Rapid City for helping to sponsor our Black Hills Classic, your local window, gutter, and siding experts. They're located at 4240 Canyon Lake Drive. Give them a call if you're considering any of those home improvements. They give you a free quote at Superior Siding. We may call them and talk about this press box, how they could help us out on that.
Yeah, they could. I mean, we could use to renovate the place a little bit. Nothing too crazy. A little housekeeping. Didn't hurt anybody.
Well, that's all I've got. We'll be back on the air tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. It will be Colorado Springs taking on Cannon City here at Fitzgerald Stadium. And our game, Post 22 and Colorado Springs at 11:30 tomorrow morning. So we'll be on the air around 11:30 or so tomorrow. Good night, Mark.
Do we have donuts coming for us again tomorrow? Or maybe bagels? Maybe we'll jazz it up. We'll do some bagels for the booth. What do you think?
Well, it's too late for breakfast. I'm thinking more of a, maybe brunch.
I could do a brunch in the booth. I like that.
Okay, well, we'll see what you whip up tomorrow morning.
All right, sounds good. We will see you tomorrow morning. Thanks for a great call again tonight, Tom. For my partner, Tom Rudabush, our director of Hardhats TV, Dustin Newman, this is Mark Venetti saying so long, good night. We'll see you tomorrow morning as the Hardhats take on Colorado Springs here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.